Buonasera cari massivi e massive e benvenuti a un nuovo streaming speciale di MMO.it. Io sono Plinious e stasera ci aspetta una grande serata a tema Diablo. Prima Diablo 4 e poi Diablo 3. In particolare seguiamo la conferenza che inizia tra pochi minuti alle 8 in punto ed è la conferenza, questo nuovo live streaming di Blizzard dedicato alle stagioni e al Battle Pass di Diablo 4. Quindi lo guardiamo insieme e lo commentiamo. Ne parleremo insieme ovviamente e poi dopo averlo analizzato come merita passeremo a giocare a Diablo 3. Per la seconda parte della serata continua la road to Diablo 4. Come sapete nelle scorse settimane abbiamo già portato Diablo 1 e Diablo 2 Resurrected. Ieri sera ho iniziato ufficialmente Diablo 3 e stasera si continua. Quindi, buonasera, benvenuti. Come state, cari massivi e massive? Buonasera, Serta Indetto, il KK, Paul, Antanimani. Allora, siete pronti? Qui mancano 7 minuti. 7 minuti, abbiamo un 7 minuti in cui diciamo che abbiamo ancora un po' di minuti per chiacchierare e discutere sulle novità che ci aspettiamo da questo nuovo live streaming e dopodiché lo seguiremo insieme. Ehm, Niente, nel frattempo io vi ricordo che abbiamo un sacco di contenuti che abbiamo pubblicato in questi giorni su MMO.it a partire da questo nuovo video speciale dedicato ai migliori action RPG isometrici di sempre, in attesa ovviamente di Diablo 4. Ormai manca poco a Diablo 4 ragazzi, manca meno di un mese, 1, 2, 3, diciamo 4 settimane se iniziare a giocare il 6 giugno, altrimenti 3 settimane praticamente. Poco più di 3 settimane. E insomma l'interesse sale, quindi direi bando alle ciance, partiamo subito perché ci sono tante cose di cui parlare. Qui alle mie spalle, come sempre, c'è la Collector's Edition di Diablo 2, la mitica Battle Chest che veglia su di noi e ci protegge. Veglia su di noi. Buonasera Rafganni. Allora, mi daresti qualche consiglio per battere Diablo nel finale di Diablo 2? Io uso il druido Summoner. Ma che livello di difficoltà sei? A normal? Io non ho mai avuto problemi, devo dire, a sconfiggere Diablo a normal. Io ho giocato a Diablo 2 col barbaro, col necro, col druido e col paladino. L'ultimo streaming che ho fatto. A normal. Ma guarda, è strano, devo dirti che io non ho mai avuto problemi, soprattutto col druido Summoner. Beh, tu evita le fiamme sicuramente, e poi col druido Summoner dovresti poter evocare uno zoo, quindi lupi, corvi, c'è la quercia, insomma, non dovresti avere grossi problemi. Ovviamente spam di pozze, quello sempre, prenditi 20 pozze nell'inventario, se possibile usa anche la cintura che ti dà più pozze. Poi per il resto a normal dovresti andare abbastanza tranquillo, evita le fiamme come detto. Potenzia solo la difesa su fire perché ti spacca tutti i lupi, quindi armati di spada. Sì, sicuramente usa un'arma per fargli danno e bom. Io sono chiuso su War Tales e spero di riuscire a finirlo per uscire di Diablo 4. Ottimo, Paul. Mi sembra un buon proposito. Resistenza fire, sì, sicuramente resistenza al fuoco può essere utile al quarto atto. E menalo tu. Beh, sicuramente lo devi menare anche tu, nel senso, se sei un druido summoner come anche il necro, hai i tuoi pet, però poi sei anche tu che lo devi menare, quello è poco ma sicuro. Figurati, Rafganni, tienici aggiornati, facci sapere se alla fine ce la fai. Ma vai tranquillo, non dovrebbero esserci grossi problemi. Ripeto, l'importante è avere lo spam di pozze sempre pronto nell'inventario. Ricordo comunque che live di Diablo 3 fu assurdo. A proposito del discorso che facevi l'altra volta, Diablo 3, sì, sì, ebbe un hype smisurato. Anche perché era da 12 anni che non usciva un nuovo capitolo della serie. E quindi la gente insomma, stava impazzendo. Buonasera Redones, la conferenza inizia tra pochissimo, alle 8. Ci siamo, ci siamo. Diablo, alla OE che spacca tutti i lupi, quindi ti tocca fartelo, altrimenti non riesci. Sì sì, menaglie, come dicono a Roma. Dai ragazzi. Allora, la conferenza qui inizia, non vi preoccupate, questa è solo l'anteprima, non è ancora iniziata la conferenza vera e propria, questo è un filmato vecchio che avevamo già visto. Per il resto, ne approfitto di questi 3 minuti che ci mancano per ricordarvi di iscrivervi al canale, di followarci qua su Twitch e soprattutto di abbonarvi per supportare il nostro lavoro e per sostenere il progetto editoriale indipendente di MMO.it. Anche perché abbiamo pubblicato un sacco di nuovi contenuti. Avete visto che abbiamo pubblicato questo grande speciale giusto ieri, dedicato ai migliori action RPG isometrici di sempre, in attesa di Diablo 4. Che c'è anche il video. C'è sia lo speciale scritto che il video su MMO.it, sul canale YouTube. Quindi se ancora non l'avete visto, mi raccomando, guardatelo, commentate, likeate, condividete tutto quanto perché abbiamo bisogno di crescere su YouTube. Siamo quasi arrivati a 10.000 iscritti, però ci manca ancora un po'. Quindi dai, per il resto trovate tutto qui. E ovviamente non poteva mancare anche lo stesso Diablo 2 e Diablo 1, meglio Diablo 1, Diablo 3 e soprattutto Diablo 2, il grande capolavoro di cui speriamo il quarto capitolo possa rivelarsi all'altezza. Buonasera Max e Godina e buonasera a tutti, mancano 2 minuti e poi inizia. Questa è solo l'anteprima, non vi preoccupate, è un video che avevamo già visto questo. E per il resto, che dire, ecco, la prossima diretta live d'aggiornamento sullo sviluppo di Diablo 4 è proprio questa, che ci sarà stasera, e vediamo un po'. Allora, ehm, fermare il piano diabolico di Lilith è indispensabile per garantire la sopravvivenza dell'umanità, ma cosa possiamo aspettarci quando la storia principale terminerà e inizieranno i contenuti stagionali? Unisciti al responsabile generale Rod Ferguson, al direttore di gioco associato Joseph Piora, al direttore della gestione prodotto Kegan Clark e al direttore della community associato Adam Fletcher il 10 maggio alle 20 nella nuova diretta live di aggiornamento sullo sviluppo. Questa volta il team parlerà del funzionamento delle stagioni, dei cosmetici e del pass battaglia interamente facoltativo di Diablo 4. Notai questo interamente facoltativo che ci tengono a precisare. E quindi niente, questa live sarà dedicata a stagioni e Battle Pass. Ci siamo? Boh, allora ovviamente dovete darmi un feedback adesso. Eh, siamo in diretta? Sì. Boh. Allora no, qua devo alzare tantissimo l'audio. Ma non sente niente. Raga, al momento non sento nulla neanch'io. Spero che alzino il volume. Spero che chi si occupi della regia in Blizzard alzi il volume. È troppo basso il volume. Eppure qui è al massimo. Vediamo se su Twitch si sente meglio. Così è insentibile. Non si sente un cazzo di niente neanche su... infatti glielo stanno scrivendo in chat. Sound is very low. Come potete vedere ragazzi, anche le grandi multinazionali come Blizzard hanno questi problemi, non solo noi di MMO.it. Li stanno scrivendo tutti in chat, alzate il volume, maledetti. E speriamo che se ne accorgano ragazzi, perché così... Sto... Ah, intanto metto categoria Diablo 4. Partiamo male, devo dire, ragazzi. È sicuramente colpa di uno stagista, esatto, Max. Un sacco di contenuti stagionali mediocri come in tutti i gas. Questo mi aspetto io. Vedremo, Max. Vabbè, intanto stanno ricordando che dal 12 al 14 maggio, quindi questo weekend, si terrà l'ultimo stress test chiamato Server Slam, che è questa, di fatto, questa ultima beta gratuita per provare appunto Diablo 4 prima del lancio. Uè, allora, nel frattempo che aspettiamo che Blizzard si svegli e che alzi il benedetto volume di questa live, che non si sente una mazza. Nel frattempo, permettetemi di ringraziare da Dire Graph Goal che si è iscritto con Prime, grandissimo, vero massivo, postumano. Grazie mille di cuore, Dire Graph o Dire Graph. Dipende se è da leggersi come Dire Mole o Dire Mole. Non vogliono farlo sentire, si vergognano. E quello può essere. Può essere, non è che non può essere. Può essere. Io so anche c'è. Sente un cazzo, ragazzi. Io sto weekend lo riprovo per vedere se hanno sistemato lo stuttering. Mi sembra un ottimo proposito, Max. Anch'io lo riproverò, credo sabato. Perché venerdì pomeriggio, venerdì mattina e pomeriggio streamerà Ray. Il buon Ray streamerà Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Sarà per il day one, che appunto esce il 12 maggio. Quindi venerdì mattina e pomeriggio il buon Ray, grande giornatona dedicata a Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Ma poi venerdì sera il buon Askz riporterà X4 a grande richiesta, quindi non potete lamentarvi. Probabilmente io invece sabato sera, se non impegni, riporterò appunto lo stress test di Diablo 4. Anch'io, non tanto per i contenuti del gioco che già abbiamo provato, ma per vedere se effettivamente hanno migliorato l'ottimizzazione e se hanno risolto i problemi di stuttering che in beta erano troppo gravi, ecco. Dai con X4, assolutamente, Teo. Il buon Askzo è carichissimo e anzi, non vede l'ora. Grazie a te per i tuoi contenuti, bravo, si legge proprio Dire, sei l'unico streamer che l'ha detto giusto. Ah, grande. Dire Graph Goal, grandissimo. No, ti ringrazio, davvero, grazie a te. Io non lo sto provando prima del day one, merito un premio per la resistenza, ma anch'io non lo proverei se è in detta, non fosse che voglio testare se hanno migliorato l'ottimizzazione. Però fate bene, non provatelo ragazzi, se posso darvi un consiglio. Il mio consiglio è non giocate lo stress test. Uno, perché così vi tenete l'interesse per il day one, non vi tenete l'hype e non ve lo spoilerate. Due, perché così guardate lo stress test da noi, qui su MMO.it. Io provo a giocare il druido e vedere le performance. Non ne sento ancora un cazzo, ma non è possibile che non stanno. Sì, no, che sia pre-recorded non c'è dubbio, però non è possibile che non alzino l'audio. Allora, usiamolo da YouTube dove potendo scegliere preferisco YouTube. Ma è uguale, Max, il volume è lo stesso, sia su Twitch che su YouTube. Adesso facciamo la prova, però. Forse è leggermente più alto su Twitch, ma cambia nulla, raga. Cambia un cazzo. Forse è leggermente più alto, ma non cambia niente.
It's not my fault that it's the best class. I didn't design the game. You did. It's my fault that Necro is the best class.
Dice, non è colpa mia che il Necro fosse la mia classe migliore. L'unica cosa che sento sono le risate. Quando ridono, quello li sente benissimo. Tutto il resto non si sente una sega. Certo è difficile lavorare così, ragazzi. Io vorrei commentare quello che dicono, ma si capisce un cazzo. Vediamo se. No, non ci sono i sottotitoli su. No, non ci sono.
It's still 4 days.
It's like ish.
If you get in a plane, though,
And
and you might get an extra couple.
Thank you. Anyways, we do have a QR code up here so you guys can actually go straight to the battle now.
L'unica cosa che sente sono le risate. Se volete vi commento le risate. Molto belle le risate.
Because we have crossplay and cross progression, you know, obviously you can play in console.
Ok, dicono crossplay e cross progression, ma questo lo sapevamo già.
And your progress carries over no matter where you are. But
Vabbè, al momento stiamo parlando di cose che sapevamo già.
So, as an example, if you were to play Server Slam on Xbox.
Ma il problema non è quello, se te in dette, perché questa comunicazione è palesemente pre-registrata. Il problema non è il pubblico, è ovvio che se la live è pre-registrata non puoi prendere le domande del pubblico. Il problema è chi sta gestendo la live a livello tecnico, cioè la regia. Chi è che si sta occupando della regia di questa live? Che da mezz'ora in chat stanno scrivendo low volume e non fanno un cazzo.
The only caveat though
Forse
is
hanno
that,
leggermente
early
alzato, ma è
access
ancora
on the
troppo
ultimate
basso.
version or the deluxe version stays on the platform that you actually purchased. Yeah. So if you are wanting to play early access on PC, make sure to get the PC version. You can play like a PlayStation version or an Xbox.
Vabbè,
version.
grazie al cazzo. Dicono, se volete avere l'accesso anticipato su PC, acquistate l'edizione PC. Grazie, non ci sarei mai arrivato.
It's caveat on that.
Thank you.
The lawyers have asked me to say that you only get early access
I've
on the
answered that
platform.
question many times for the last couple of months. So, but we do have a lot to talk about today. I think one of the big
Ok, l'hanno alzato un po'
we've been
adesso.
hearing from the community.
Ci hanno messo un quarto d'ora, Dio Cristo. Buonasera, Mandrake.
Exactly.
Oh, basta ridere, avete rotto il cazzo. Madonna, mi stanno girando i coglioni in una maniera vorticosa. Basta ridere, stanno qui con... che fastidio. Dio santo. Se ride ancora una volta io spacco tutto.
Season 4 on May 4th for Diablo.
Adesso no, non spacco tutto perché poi ci devo pagare io.
So rocking that out. So yeah, exciting.
Yeah, so but Seasons of Diablo 4 has been a big question because a lot of people want to know.
No, veramente insopportabili. Un quarto d'ora che ridono. Se ridono ancora una volta chiudo questa live del cazzo. Che ho cose più importanti.
Here to interrupt their flow and annoy them.
L'avevo detto. Se ridono ancora una volta chiudo questa live del cazzo. Hanno riso ancora una volta ho chiuso questa live del cazzo. No, insopportabili. Cioè, avete ragione voi, avevi ragione tu, se tendetta, avevi ragione tu. Cioè, ma puoi fare una live a ridere? Ma dacci delle informazioni, Cristo! Dateci delle notizie! No, ridono! Ma vaffanculo, va! Comunicazione del cazzo! Oh, niente, adesso mi calmo. La rimettiamo? No, però così è infattibile.
The launch of the base game.
Mid to late July.
Mid to late July, actually. It's good. Yeah, we haven't talked about that yet, but absolutely, it is mid to late.
Fermi tutti, porco Giuda maledetto, mi son perso le cose importanti. Dio maledetto. Quante bestemmie. Allora,
Really great. So let's talk about seasons.
idioti.
All right, so we're gonna have a helpful
Teste di
infographic to show you in
cazzo.
just a second, but let me talk to you about seasons as a general rule. Now, as we're thinking about Diablo 4 and the launch product of the game, we are trying to make sure that we've got a really great experience that players are going to be able to enjoy for their first, character playthrough of the campaign and have an excellent experience.
Cioè, giustamente hanno detto stronzate per un quarto d'ora, hanno passato a ridere per un quarto d'ora quando ho chiuso sta live di merda perché mi hanno fatto girare i coglioni e iniziamo a parlare delle cose importanti. Ma andate a fanculo, va. Teste di cazzo. Teste di minchia. Vabbè.
Seasonal content, our post-launch content is going to be arriving shortly after the launch of the base game.
Mid to late July.
Mid to late July.
Mid to late July. Ok, quindi metà luglio, fine luglio. Ok,
Yeah,
ok.
we haven't talked about that yet, but absolutely it is mid to late July.
Sì, no, sono impazzito. Sono impazzito.
So that's the goal. We want to make sure that you've got
Cioè,
enough time
queste cose mi fanno
to be your first
impazzire.
character and really enjoy the campaign at your own pace and kind of explore potentially different classes. as
L'ho
you go.
l'ho recuperato,
So, thinking about
Corinzio.
Seasons in Diablo 4, we start off with thinking about a theme, the seasonal content of that season. So we're going to have 4 seasons a year, one per quarter, and each of these are going to have a really strong theme associated with them. And
Intanto
this
alzo
theme
il
is going
volume.
to basically inform the things we want to do with all the content within the season, with things that might be appearing in the Battle Pass, things in the seasonal quest line, things associated with like the new gameplay mechanics we'd be adding as part of that season. We really want to make sure these things feel like they're connected in one coherent experience for players when they log in and they play during the season.
Right.
Yeah.
And so as part of that season, then to carry that theme forward, you're going to want to obviously have some sort of context or narrative around the season. Yes.
Yes, that's absolutely right. So that leads us to the seasonal quest line. So one of the questions I see get asked either like online or
Seasonal
occasionally
quest
we'll see
line.
in like various chat channels is just that like how are we thinking about story as a with regards to like the live service and how are we extending the story of Diablo 4? And there's kind of like 2 approaches to the way that we're looking at things. With regards to seasons, we're not going to be using this as an opportunity to expand upon the campaign story of Diablo 4.
Right.
You know, the campaign story of Diablo 4, featuring like Inarius and Lilith and the events of the Wanderer, those events are really going to be told over the course of our expansions, our post-launch expansions that we're not talking specifically about today. You know, but that's really where the high-level posts and Lilith story of Diablo. With regards to seasons, we're not going to be using this as an opportunity to expand upon the campaign story of Diablo 4.
Right.
You know, the campaign story of Diablo 4, featuring like Inarius and Lilith and the events of the Wanderer, those events are really going to be told over the course of our expansions, our post.
The Events of the Wanderer, ma perché c'è il Dark Wanderer anche in Diablo 4? C'è il viandante oscuro?
Launch expansions that we're not talking specifically about today. You know, but that's really where the high-level narrative of Diablo 4 will continue to unfold. But that leaves our hand open to do really interesting things in seasons. So if a season is supposed to have like a theme with a gameplay mechanic and other things associated with it, it allows us to have like one really engaging seasonal quest line that manages to deliver on like a self-contained story that's going to guide the player through, like, again, the mechanics and the themes of that season. So like these are still like really big events that are happening in the world of Sanctuary, where the player is going to be able to like step in the role of the Wanderer and like kind of go and help people and like, again, the mechanics and the themes of that season. So like these are still like really big events that are happening in the world of Sanctuary, where the player is going to be able to like step in the role of the Wanderer and like kind of go and help people and like and explore interesting
I
mechanics.
giocatori saranno nel ruolo del
The ideas
Wanderer.
around the season are not bound by the
Non è
campaign.
chiaro.
You're basically creating quest lines in the open world that can be completely different and completely, you know, it's not constrained to, it has to be about the Inarius and Lilith story. It can be about anything that's sort of interesting you want to play into in the open world, right?
Absolutely. So if, for example, we had a season theme for the first season, which, again, we will not be discussing today, folks. We're going to save
Correct.
season 1 to talk about it a little bit later on.
Yeah, we plan on talking about season 1 after launch.
That's right. But let's say, for sake of argument, that the first season was, the theme was about zombies.
Which it is not.
No, this is a false premise.
Season 1
Cazzo
after
dice?
launch.
That's right.
Madonna, che
But let's
fastidio
say, for
queste
sake of
risate
argument, that the
continue.
first season was, the theme was about zombies.
Which it is not.
No, this is a false premise. Okay, but let's just say, for sake of argument, that it was about zombies as the theme. That means that like things that be showing up in the Battle Pass might be related to some like zombie stuff. The season quest line might be about like rising of zombies throughout Sanctuary. Like that, we try to make sure these things all feel connected. So the season quest line, it's going to introduce new characters, like great voice acting, memorable quests and experiences will guide the player through the season. That's the way we're looking.
Nuove quest,
So then
nuove
that
linee.
also then, I feel like I'm doing your job, actually. Am I doing your job? I apologize.
No, you're doing great.
Oh, thanks, Adam.
You're doing amazing.
Raga, sono insopportabili. Mi viene una voglia di prendere, di spaccare qualcosa. Cioè, buonasera, Edo Picchi. Invece di darci informazioni, continuano a ridere, farsi battute. Hai visto? Ah, grande, ah, lol, che ridere. Madonna, ma perché io sono qui a seguire questa conferenza quando potremmo giocare a Diablo 3? Sono incazzato come una iena in questo momento. Veramente spaccherei il mouse. Se non fosse che poi devo pagarlo io. Ma se me lo pagasse Blizzard, spaccherei il mouse in questo momento. Ah.
Thank you for the daily affirmation. I'll
I'm
give
just
you
gonna
20
leave
bucks
now.
later. Sorry, I'm just curious. I think like
Facciamo così, ragazzi, è meglio che non dica niente. Adesso mi muto e continuiamo a guardare questa conferenza, ma io è meglio che non dica niente, perché da me uscirebbero solo bestemmie. Quindi mi muto e andiamo avanti.
like when you think about the theme, you know, that obviously goes beyond story construct, but also goes into the mechanics, like how you think about gameplay. Yes.
Absolutely. And that brings us to the next major thing that I want to discuss, which is fresh gameplay. This is what I would. This is the great. Yes. So fresh gameplay. So with every new season, obviously we'll be introducing new story content, which I already described, and then we want to introduce new mechanics and gameplay for players to engage with over the course of that season. So this comes down to things like just new power for players to earn or ways to experience the growth of their character. Things are going to modify and change the way they're going to want to approach building.
Allora, qui è interessante, parlano di novità al gameplay che ci saranno con ogni nuova stagione. Bisogna capire esattamente di cosa intendono.
Or ways to experience the growth of their character. Things are going to modify
questo è
and change the way they're going to want
interessante.
to approach building their character every season. This goes beyond meta changes or like balance and tuning and things like that. It really comes down to like just like wholesale like new features and things that are going to be available for the duration of that season for players to experience. And then at the termination of the season, when the season is over, these sorts of features are
Dice che sono cose che vanno al di là del semplice bilanciamento del meta delle classi, sono proprio delle novità grosse a livello di gameplay per ogni nuova stagione.
Experience. And then at the termination of the season, when the season is over, these sorts of features are going to be retired to be considered for, again, in the future if we like them or not. But for now, we want to make sure that we're kind of maintaining a certain level of parity across the game, and we're not kind of creating layers of like cruft and distraction from the core Diablo experience, which we already feel is tuned very well. So yeah, we're really excited to talk about those a little bit more in the future, but you can expect like exciting new features and gameplay to engage with between new monsters and mechanics, things for players to craft or do, change their gear, or just change their skills. So we're really excited about that stuff in the future.
And then when you think about seasonal stuff, we talked about, when you look at, say, Diablo 3 has the chapters that you go through to get Hager's gift and those sorts of things. So there's that sense of progression through a season. And
Sì, aspetti nuovi,
we've obviously
Corinzi.
talked about the Battle Pass and how the Battle Pass will be in our previous blog around this stuff as well. But it's good to clarify again. So when you think about not just like, okay, I have a seasonal narrative, I have a seasonal mechanic or gameplay hook now, but how do I think about progression within a season?
Sure. So, great question. So, when we're thinking about seasons, we want to make sure we are creating new opportunities for long-term progression. The first version of that we want to talk about really is the season journey, which does make a return from Diablo 3. So, inside the season journey, the player is going to have an opportunity to complete a number of different objectives that are tied.
Fermi tutti, Season Journey che dice che è una feature che ritorna da Diablo 3.
The first version of that we want to talk about really is the season journey, which does
progressione
make
a
a
lungo
return from
termine.
Diablo 3. So inside the season journey, the player is going to have an opportunity to complete a number of different objectives that are tied to mechanics, story goals, or other things that are happening during the course of the season. I think we might actually have an image for the season journey we can maybe pull up as well that might help me explain some parts of
I
this.
think we hid the zombie stuff though, so there's no zombies.
There's no zombie stuff in
Zombie
this.
stuff.
Yes.
No
So,
zombies.
yes, please note the top secret labels for this because we realize there's no image we can show that
Avete
doesn't
rotto
start
il
to give away some
cazzo
information.
a ridere, parlate di... Madonna, parlate di informazioni. Avete rotto il cazzo con queste risate. Abbiate rispetto per il pubblico. Abbiate rispetto per il pubblico. Dio santo.
For this because we realize there's no image we can show that doesn't start to give away some of the things we're doing in season 1. Too bad. You're going to be able to talk more. We'll talk more about that a little bit later on. But here in the season journey, players are going to be able to complete a number of these objectives, as I already called out. Objectives are separated into chapters. One of the big changes that we made as part of the season journey is we've ensured that now players don't need to actually complete every one of the objectives within a chapter in order to advance. They could choose to go back and still complete it.
So if I go ahead.
Yeah, it's pretty different than if you're a player of Diablo 3 and you're going through season journey. If you remember, like going through each chapter required you to finish every single little bit of it before you could progress to another chapter. So this one obviously a little different in how you kind of approach it because you don't have to do every single thing. You can actually complete it beforehand by doing most of the objectives and kind of choosing specifically.
Yeah, like if I'm not a PvP player, I don't have to do the PvP objective to progress through the journey, right?
That's correct. If we have an objective that would send you to like the Fields of Hatred, you wouldn't have to go there to complete that one. You could do the other objectives associated with the season instead.
Got it.
So when you're going through and you're kind of completing the season journey, you're going to earn rewards for completing the objectives, and you'll also earn some big rewards at the end of each chapter, where you're going to get like packs of like crafting materials and items, and you can also unlock actual legendary aspects that will go into your Codex of Power.
Oh, nice.
before
So
that
not just
season.
earn through dungeons, you can earn through the
Yeah, a
journey.
different set of aspects, in fact, will be available through the Codex of Power in this way. And some of the new legendary powers we add in every season will also be made available through this method. So you'll still be able to find them as item drops, of course, but you can start being able to experiment and play with them pretty early on through these drops. And then the last thing I think is worth talking about here is every time you complete one of these objectives, you're going to also be earning favor, which is a kind of an experience system that's used by the Battle Pass. But with that other way, so you get like little drops from completing the objectives, and big drops of that also from completing the chapters. But when it comes to long-term progression in the Battle Pass, like, hey, would you mind that also from completing the chapters? But when it comes to long-term progression in the Battle Pass, like, hey, would you mind maybe walking us through some of how the Battle Pass works?
Yeah, absolutely. So I know there's been a lot of questions about the Battle Pass, so let's talk through it today. So this is the Seasons tab, and this is going to be, the hub for all things seasons. Under that top secret label, you can see the
Ok, quindi interessante, vediamo un po' di oggetti che saranno presenti nel Season Pass. Ovviamente parliamo di skin cosmetiche, quindi non sono armi né armature, ma solo cosmetici, ripeto, che questi sono inclusi nel Battle Pass Free. Vedete che c'è scritto free, quindi sono inclusi nelle ricompense del Battle Pass gratuito. E poi ci sarà un Battle Pass a pagamento chiamato Premium Battle Pass che vedete lì in basso a sinistra.
The season journey. And then at the bottom here, you can see the actual Battle Pass. And what you're seeing is a mix of the free tiers and the premium tiers of the Battle Pass. The way that you progress the Battle Pass is, like Joe mentioned, by earning favor. And there's two sources of it. You get it from the season journey, like Joe mentioned, but you also get it from leveling up and playing any seasonal character. So there's 3 levels of the Battle Pass. There's the free track, which, like the name implies, you don't have to pay for. Everybody has access to that. The premium track, which is roughly $10 depending on, where.
Quindi sono 3 tipi di Battle Pass, c'è il Battle Pass gratuito, poi c'è il Battle Pass Premium che ha detto sono $10.
Where you are in the world. And then there's the accelerated track, which is just like the premium track, but it has includes 20 tier skips. It's,
E poi c'è il Battle Pass Premium accelerato che è come il Battle Pass Premium ma in più include 20 livelli skippati, se ho capito bene.
Folks who might have gotten a late start and a special cosmetic. And that one is roughly $25.
E costa
USD, depending on
$25.
where you are in the world. But let's talk a little bit more about the free and premium tracks.
Sì, è stile Warzone.
So
D'altronde
the
è
free
sempre di
track has
Activision
27
Blizzard.
total tiers, and what you're primarily getting from the free track are what's called smoldering ashes. And the smoldering ashes are going to be like the currency that you use to unlock seasonal blessings. So the seasonal blessings are different buffs you can get that will help accelerate your progress through the season. Different buffs you can get that will help accelerate your progress through the season. So you can see, for example, here, plus 3%
Sì,
to
sono dei
XP
boost.
earned. That's
Questi.
here, plus 3% to XP earned. That's going to help players, level up again, level up multiple characters.
Sono boost che valgono per le stagioni, ok? Quindi per le season. Buonasera Daikil, buonasera a tutti intanto.
And all of these are really just meant to help players through that seasonal progression, through that seasonal journey. It's important to note, though, that there is a secondary level requirement on every free tier of the Battle Pass that contains smoldering ashes. So, for example, if you were level 1 and you bought, a bunch of tier skips and hadn't played yet, you wouldn't be able to access the smoldering ashes and spend them until you had actually leveled up a character and met those level requirements. And this is to, prevent folks from buying a ton of tier skips and keep everybody on a level playing ground. So that is.
I had a question about that actually. So
Allora, mettiamo in pausa lo streaming Blizzard, meno male che siamo su YouTube e si può mettere in pausa per ringraziare Edopic che ha rinnovato il suo abbonamento, ma non solo. Ha regalato 10 abbonamenti alla community, grandissimo, vero massivo postumano, vero massivo postumano asceso. Grazie mille di cuore Edopic, sei un grande, un grandissimo. Tanto amore, assolutamente tanto amore, così siamo anche saliti ulteriormente con i postumani, super massivo, grandissimo. Devo arrabbiarmi più spesso se poi risultate questo, no? Che giusto prima mi sono incazzato per questi streaming di Blizzard totalmente irrispettosi nei confronti del pubblico, in cui se la ridono, se la cantano e se la scherzano tra di loro. E devo incazzarmi più spesso se questo è il risultato. Supportiamo anche il sito Plinious, assolutamente, Edopic. Assolutamente, grazie mille. Da parte non solo mia, ma anche da parte di Askzor, di Kravuz, del buon Ray, eccetera eccetera. Adesso proseguo con lo streaming, altrimenti finiamo domani, però grazie mille di cuore.
Ton of tier skips and keep everybody on a level playing ground. So that is.
I had a question about that actually. So there are no smoldering ashes available in the premium track of the Battle Pass, right?
That is absolutely correct. It is all the things that affect gameplay are only in the free track.
Okay.
And so that basically that's we've
Qui ho fatto una domanda importante,
Yeah,
però.
tier skips and keep
Oh, raga, scusate, lo so, è un disastro questa live. Prima l'ho chiusa, poi sono in ritardo, poi mi sono incazzato. È un disastro, ok? Perdonatemi, però.
requirements, and this is to prevent folks from buying a ton of tier skips and keep everybody on a level
L'importante è capire le cose fondamentali.
playing ground. So that is
I had a question about that actually. So there are no smoldering ashes available in the premium track of the Battle Pass, right?
Ok, queste Smoldering Ashes, che sono una valuta inclusa nel Battle Pass, sono però incluse solo nel Battle Pass gratuito, nel Free Battle Pass. Le Smoldering Ashes non sono nel Battle Pass Premium a pagamento.
that is absolutely correct. It is all the things that affect gameplay are only in the free track.
Okay.
And so that basically, we've said like it's always cosmetic based, so there's no, you can't pay for power in
Sono solo
Diablo 4
cosmetici,
because,
non si può
as you saw,
acquistare
the
potere, non
stuff
si può
that-
diventare
the
più
season blessings
potenti,
are on
come
the free
dicevamo prima,
track,
ragazzi,
and
no
they
pay
have a
to
level
win.
requirement, so you actually have to play to get
L'hanno
to a certain
ripetuto
point, so it keeps
250.000
everybody on level
volte,
playing
solo
field.
contenuti
Right. You
cosmetici,
may
solo
not, pay
skin
for
e
power
boost.
in Diablo 4. Right. You may not pay for power in Diablo 4. So yeah, let's talk about next the premium track. So like I mentioned, $10 USD, depending on where you are in the world. And this contains 63 total reward tiers. So you add that to the 27 from the free track, you get the
63
90 total
ricompense
reward
totali
tiers. So you
nel
add that to the
Battle Pass
27 from the free
gratuito.
track, you get the 90 total tiers,
90 tiers.
in the Battle Pass. Yes. There is a ton of value in that premium track. So you get 2 full armor sets for every class. And
Due
they're really
armor set
themed to the
completi.
season. They're meant to be like a celebration of that season's theme.
Ah, che figo.
And there's other stuff in there. There's the seasonal mount. There's
Con
the
le
seasonal
mount
mount
anche.
armor, which you can see here on
Le
this
skin per
screen.
le mount.
And then there's just like a bunch of fun other little cosmetics like role-playing clothing.
Beh,
For
certo sono
example, we have
fighe
like
le skin.
a big, pair
Hanno
of
fatto
white
un
bloomers in
lavorone
there.
assurdo.
So there's lots of fun stuff to find in the
Almeno
Battle
questo
Pass.
bisogna
That's what I wear when I-
riconoscerlo.
White bloomers in there. So there's lots of fun stuff to find in the Battle Pass.
No, that's what I wear when I role play.
I think that's actually a really fun idea though. So like, it's not like not
Cazzo
necessarily
ridi,
like
che
big
cazzo
armor or things, but
ridi.
just more other stuff. So if you want to like play a particular role,
fastidio
not
che
like
stiamo-
big
questo qua-
armor or things,
Questi
but just
americani.
more other stuff. So if you want to like play a particular role, like there's
Yeah.
options for some of that stuff that you'll find.
And
in
you
the
can
free
mix
track,
and match all of it. So, you can create all kinds of ways to express yourself.
What's nice is that you just said there's 90 tiers, and a season is 3 months, right? So you have quite a lot of time. You have essentially 120 days to do 90
Ogni stagione
tiers,
sono 3
which
mesi,
seems
questo lo sapevamo già.
doable. Like,
Yeah,
seems
we
like
want it to be achievable.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, great.
Loro promettono che sarà raggiungibile, cioè le ricompense del Battle Pass saranno raggiungibili giocando anche senza grindare come un pazzo. Sì, sono molto nervoso, Darkill, perché all'inizio della live devi sapere che sostanzialmente i primi 10 minuti di questa live non hanno fatto altro che ridere. Continuano a farsi battutine, a ridere, a sorridere. E io sono impazzito, sbroccato. E niente, sono impazzito, insomma, cioè proprio impazzito. Perché io capisco una battutina, capisco 2 battutine, ma quando la live in cui dovresti dare informazioni al tuo pubblico continui a ridere, cioè non vuol dire che non hai rispetto per il tuo
I want to call it
pubblico.
one thing also. Then we were looking at that image before. There's that top secret label on the left.
Yeah.
Like that is that
Sì,
is
vuol dire che sei
explicitly a
scollegato
link
dal
to
tuo
some part of the
pubblico.
season journey as well. The only reason it says top secret there is because it's got language in there that I do not want to make sure that anyone is able to read to give away what's happening in season 1.
Exactly.
Otherwise, people know about the zombies.
Otherwise, people know about it's not a zombie season, Ron.
You use the example, Joe. That's on you. That's
I was
not on
just
me.
trying to pick something, okay? I'll say something. It's season of the circus next time, whatever. So, actually could be kind of cool, like a devilish circus sort of feel. All right, I'll talk to people about
Scary
that.
clowns.
It's scary clowns, yeah, for sure. So yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, it's nice to get a little more information on the Battle Pass, like out there.
Right. And so, okay, so we talked about progression.
Non fatemi
we
dire
talked about-
nulla,
like,
ragazzi,
out
non fatemi dire nulla.
So yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, it's nice to get a little more information on the Battle Pass,
Buonasera Galatimus.
like out there.
Right. And so, okay, so we talked about progression.
Yeah.
We talked about both in the season journey and in the awesome battle pass. And so now when we think about what the seasons also provide is like, obviously, we're hearing about balance. We're going to be hearing about, hey, how do we improve people's experience based on what we saw in the previous season? And actually, before we get into that, if I can interject, I'll steal one of your questions from Q&A. Can I do that?
Go right ahead.
Oh yeah, all right.
So one of the things that comes up, I get a lot on my Twitter feed is around, hey, how do I think about, Diablo 3 seasons, Kagan said it earlier about like your seasonal character, that notion of do I have to re-roll to get into and experience the season and experience the narrative wrapper, to experience the mechanics, to experience the progression. Basically, do I have to start a new character?
Yeah, so Diablo 4 is balanced around the idea of trying to make sure that
Questa è la domanda importante, è la domanda che ci siamo fatti per mesi. Devi iniziare un nuovo personaggio per giocare la nuova season? Noi sappiamo già la risposta, però sentiamo cosa dicono.
To start a new character.
Yeah, so Diablo 4 is balanced around the idea of trying to make sure that level up experience from 1 to 100 is really engaging and fun, and very punchy when items drop for you, that your power progression feels a certain way as you play. So you do, as a result of that, we do balance around the idea of playing over the course of a quarter character, right? You can play a lot longer than that if you want, absolutely.
Right.
We want to make sure it feels really good to play inside that 9-day period. We are going to be having players like re-roll and make new characters with every new season, and be able to experience the growth of their character over the course of each of those quarters.
And I think you might have said it, but just because you talk really fast, I want to make sure it's really clear.
How dare you? No one has ever said that about me.
I'm
once.
a fast talker and you beat me. So the notion around, though, that you basically have to complete the campaign at least once before you can truly experience the season, right?
Yeah, that's true. Actually, there's a couple things that so once you unlock a couple things, you'll have them.
Ok, risate a parte, hanno detto quello che già sapevamo, cioè che nel momento in cui avrai già finito la campagna con un personaggio, potrai skipparla nelle stagioni. Quindi sarà possibile skippare la campagna a patto di averla già completata una volta.
For your account from that point forward, I can just kind of maybe just
Yeah.
So once you unlock a couple things, you'll have them for your account from that point forward. I can just kind of maybe just throw all
go right
those in
ahead.
now.
Yeah,
Right?
I mean, we get so many questions about it. I think it'd be good if we clear it.
Yeah, sure. So first thing is, when you complete the campaign on any character, whether you're playing in the hardcore mode of the game or the normal mode of the game, no matter what difficulty of the game that you're playing and you beat the campaign on, from that point forward, every character that you make, you're going to have the option to skip the campaign as part of playing that character.
Ok, e questa è una cosa che sapevamo già ed è stata confermata.
So if you play the campaign as part of this pre-season period before season 1 begins, and you finish it, when you start playing in season 1, you can choose to skip the campaign as part of your playthrough.
Bene.
Which means you get to experience the new seasonal content right away. Otherwise, you can still choose to play through the campaign in seasons, but you'll need to finish the campaign content away. Otherwise, you can still choose to play through the campaign in seasons, but you'll need to finish the campaign content before the seasonal content is going to begin for you. So just things to think about as you play. So that's the first thing you get as kind of an account.
Ha detto che sarà anche possibile scegliere di giocare comunque la campagna nelle stagioni, ma se scegli di giocare la campagna dovrai prima finire la campagna e solo dopo avrai accesso ai contenuti della nuova stagione.
Level unlocked.
Così ha detto.
So just things to think about as you play. So that's the first thing you get as kind of an account level unlock for your character as you play.
Right.
The second is when you're playing through the campaign, you're going to reach a point in the story where you're going to unlock your first horsey. And when you get your first horsey,
horsies.
Horsies. And once you unlock your first horsey, you're then going to have the ability to basically.
Tutti questo è importante.
Get
Stiamo
as
parlando
kind of an account
delle
level unlock for your
mount.
character as you play.
Right.
The second is when you're playing through the campaign, you're going to reach a point in the story where you're going to unlock your first horsey.
Ok, quando raggiungi un certo punto, un certo livello della campagna, ci sarà una quest che sblocca il cavallo.
When you get your first horsey,
horsies.
Horsies. Once you unlock your first horsey, you're then going to have the ability to basically mount up with every one of your characters from that point forward, including characters you might have already rolled at that point. Having unlocked it once, you've got that as an account level.
Ok, anche qui sbloccare le mount è account bound. Quindi una volta che una mount sarà stata sbloccata con un personaggio, è sbloccata con tutti i personaggi dell'account.
Even effectively for yourself, you'll be able to start like
Future seasons even. I can just
future
like start a
seasons.
new character, gotta
That's
get my
right.
horsey.
Level 1, after skipping the campaign or even playing through the campaign in the following season, you're gonna be able to like just go ahead and mount up right away.
My horsey's in my cave with me?
Yeah, your horsey. That's
Get my
right.
horsey.
Level 1, after skipping the campaign or even playing through the campaign in the following season, you're gonna be able to like just go ahead and mount up right away.
My horsey's in my cave with me?
Yeah, your horsey, yes, the horsey that died is then going to immediately revive, and then you're going to play with the horsey right away.
Zombies.
Oh my God!
Spoiler!
We have showed the video. People know. Okay.
And zombies,
Honestly, though, if I spoiled that moment, then I do deeply apologize, and we should put spoiler warnings on
I
these
think
things.
they're taking about like zombie horses now is theme specific. I think that leans right into that seasonal theme.
Yeah,
Pivoting.
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
3 weeks before launch.
Yeah, sure. Sound off in the comments if you want zombie season. Let's hear it. Okay, so that's the second thing. You'll have access to your mount that you unlock. And then the last thing is that there's, as you're playing through the, as you probably played as part of like the open betas that we've done, and you'll see again in SummerSlam, you'll be finding these altars of Lola throughout the world.
Server slam.
What did I say?
Me ne sono andato un attimo perché, insomma, non è veramente fattibile. Cioè, io non so cosa hanno oggi gli sviluppatori di Blizz, io non ho mai visto una live così poco professionale in tutta la mia vita, però basta ridere, avete rotto il cazzo. Avete veramente rotto il cazzo. Cioè, date informazioni al vostro pubblico, non prendetelo in giro. Io non so cosa gli è preso oggi, però...
Absolutely.
3 weeks before launch.
Yeah, sure. Access to your mount that you unlock. And then the last thing is that
cerchiamo di capire, ok? Perché è veramente difficile trovare delle informazioni in mezzo a questa montagna di risate di merda. Cerchiamo di capire.
Okay, so that's the second thing. You'll have access to your mount that you unlock. And then the last thing is that there's, as you're playing through the, as you probably played as part of like the open betas that we've done, and we'll see again in SummerSlam, you'll be finding these altars of Lola throughout the world.
Server slam.
What did I say?
Server slam.
Okay.
Server slam.
Completely a slip, everybody. It has nothing to do with SummerSlam. So yeah, during the server slam, wow, I really did, didn't I? So during the server slam, you're going to be finding altars of Lola throughout the world. And when you collect these, you get two things. One, you're beginning.
Ma sembrano drogati, raga. Sembrano veramente drogati. Altro che ganja. Cioè, la ganja non fa questo effetto. Qui non so se si son presi un barile così di cocaina. Cioè, ma sembrano veramente drogati. Cioè, io non ho mai visto degli sviluppatori prendere così poco seriamente una diretta. Cioè, non stanno bene. E neanch'io sto bene. Perché io sono furente in questo momento. Sono furioso. Il Plinious furioso.
So yeah, during the server slam, wow, I really did, didn't I? So during the server slam, you're going to be finding altars of Lola throughout the world. And when you collect these, you get two things. One, you're beginning renown, which is going to be basically used to get a number of different, rewards for your characters on that realm from that zone. So new skill points, new healing potion charges, things like that you got a chance to see before.
Right.
But you also get a permanent stat boost,
Right.
for all characters on your account.
One of the main reasons to go after the altars.
Yeah, right. But we don't want you to need to necessarily go after them every single quarter to go and collect all of these. We think it's really fun, particularly the first time, to go and find all of these things.
Right.
So once you get that stat boost the first time, that stat boost is going to apply to all other characters in your account from that point forward.
Right.
Yeah, so you don't have to get those over and over again. And when it comes to renown, you don't need to go get every altar of Lilith to finish off the renown track in each one of these zones.
Sure, it's like the season journey. You don't have to do everything on the renown track to get all the renown. You can do it. Maybe I want to do. Maybe strongholds are my favorite feature, so I can lean into strongholds or whatever. So, but what you're saying is, hey, I played the campaign. I found all these altars of Lilith the first time, and now when we go into a season, they are hidden again. But I still keep all the buffs I got the first time, all the things that are permanent, like the +2 intelligence, +2.
Yeah.
God knows I need +2 intelligence, and +2 strength and what have you. But the idea of going and finding an altar to add more renown to the pool to progress, I can still do that. Like
Absolutely.
I can still go find them if I want to.
Yeah, and you get a little bit of experience for doing it as well. So yeah, they're still kind of fun to stumble across as part of your regular play experience within a season. You just don't have to get them all again if you don't want to. There's other things you can do instead.
Okay, so I think we covered what sticks around.
That's right.
So that's great.
But like the entries in your Codex of Power are going to reset, so you're going to have to go find those aspects again.
Go to the dungeons.
Yeah, go do the dungeons again. So
Yep.
yeah, those are the things you're going to reset.
Yep.
Great. Okay, so that definitely great long term. That was really on topic actually in terms of long term progression because it actually is long-term progression.
Yeah, by the letter of the law, it's long-term progression. So yeah, Rod's 100% correct. Thank you.
But when you think about what else the seasons provide an opportunity for, like you talked about, like all these things. Okay, we have a new quest line, we have new mechanics, we have all this progression, but it's also an opportunity to kind of react to player feedback and also what you're seeing in terms of the data coming in terms of balance or things that maybe we need to smooth out and sand down.
Yeah, absolutely. So we know that operating a live service game with Diablo 4 after the game launches and seasons come out, that is going to be basically it's the best versions of this are always a conversation with the player base as we play and a conversation with the community as we play. So as we're going to be receiving feedback and we're seeing how certain features and content is performing, that gives us opportunities to sort of like respond to that feedback and react to it with updates to the game. Now, things take.
Ok, interessante. Adesso parliamo di quality of life, qualità della vita. Vediamo cosa intendono.
Lead time. So if we see immediately after launch that there's something that we could maybe make an improvement on, it's tough to like immediately and very quickly turn around like launch that there's something that we could maybe make an improvement on. It's tough to like immediately and very quickly turn around like big changes, but we want to make sure that we are carefully iterating to make Diablo 4 the best version of itself that it can be as we go.
Yeah, and this is like it brings up to the point like where we just had betas and we literally took the feedback that we got from the community, which we were obviously super appreciative of because it just makes a better game in the end of the day, and people will actually be able to experience those changes from the beta in the server slam weekend this coming weekend because of that feedback. So players providing feedback on our forums, on Reddit, social media, we're always reading through all of that stuff. To have that, so yeah.
And I think it's worth mentioning too in terms of the way that, like, in order to have a game that has seasons all the time and sort of this like having quarterly seasons, you're not like once season 1 launches, we start season 2. Like season 2 has to be pretty much like very much in flight, and that's what I think Joe was talking about around the idea that we're going to be as responsive as we can. So if there's a bug, or especially if it's something we can fix on the server, like we'll do things quickly. Yeah. But if there's a big change, it may take a season to get there just because season 2 is already mostly in the can by the time season 1
That's
is
how game development works, everyone.
What? Yeah. You're developing things ahead of time? Yep. Unbelievable. That's why we know we have zombies. And so, but just something in terms of patience and understanding is like the way that you have to build seasons is you're basically having 2 seasonal teams that are leapfrogging each other with like, we kind of call it the odd team and the even team to be able to keep up that pace. And so that's why I was like, oh, I saw this thing in season 1, it's definitely addressed in season 2. It may not if it's big enough. It may be that season 1 thing we saw is in season 3 because it was big enough to require that time.
Yep.
So
That's absolutely right.
Just understand how that's all working.
Yeah, so like reacting to bug fixes and other things, that's going to be another really big part of the live service team's job, right? So like everything we're doing within seasons, we want to make sure that we're constantly responding to that kind of feedback from players and kind of making the game better as time goes on.
Well, the other part of the season is like, we've got a lot of positive response on our character creation, and it would be great to get Kagan back.
Posso dire che sulla quality of life non hanno detto assolutamente niente, cioè hanno detto sì che fixeranno i bug, hanno detto che i feedback della beta ovviamente sono stati molto utili e molto preziosi, ok, non hanno detto assolutamente niente di concreto, almeno che io abbia capito.
From players and kind of making the game better as time goes on.
Well, the other part of the season is like, we've got a lot of positive response on our character creation.
Ok, adesso parla della creazione del personaggio e sentiamo cosa dice.
And it would be great to get Kagan back in to talk about sort of how we think about customization during the season, because we know like maybe talk a little bit about what you can actually find in the world, but also what we're excited about with the shop.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the game is full of hundreds of incredible transmogs, that you'll unlock.
Ci sono centinaia di transmog che è possibile sbloccare
just by salvaging gear, and the transmogs in the game really give you this this power, this sense of like visceral power progression for your character.
Right.
And so they're meant to really like bring that to life, grounded in Diablo's story and its world and its lands. And what the shop offers is a lot of diversity. So like the way that we wanted diversity of like the fantasies that you can experience and that you can express. So the way that we wanted to support the development of the seasons was to, add things to the game that players would appreciate. To create art and beautiful things that are grounded in Diablo 4's world and its art style, but provide this like array of class fantasies. And so, for example, if you want to be like a thunder goddess as a sorceress, or you want to be a big barbarian that like rips the tongues out of your enemies and puts them on your armor.
Very specific. That was very
I
specific.
like it though. That's good.
Slightly unsettling, but very specific.
Yeah.
You can, the shop is going to help provide a lot of this like diversity in the types of fantasies, and then you can take all those pieces and mix and match them with the cool stuff that you find in the game to express yourself all kinds of ways.
Yeah, I think one fun thing about this too, like players got a chance.
The
Like I saw,
tongue ripping, is that the fun thing?
absolutely,
yeah, tongue
absolutely.
ripping.
But no, I was actually going to talk about. I was going to talk about our previous betas. We got a chance to see a lot of players making.
Ripping.
But no, I was actually going to talk about. I was going to talk about our previous betas. We got a chance to see a lot of players making really cool-looking, customized characters in the game, and all of the gear they're collecting, it's still very low-level gear. Like there's a lot. There's much more stuff to go find.
Wait, there's
Yeah,
more
wait
beyond
till you
level
get
20?
to the end game.
There's a lot more looks and appearances to find as you're progressing through more of the game.
One of the things I love about the equipment that's in the game is that we actually do regional themed armor and such.
Oh, here we go.
Well, this is not.
Here's our side-by-sides.
This is not my point, but it's fine. It's good to speak to your point. Maybe all I was going to say quickly before, so Kay can go back and talk about this. But I just think it's really cool that we have like regional looks, like the notion of like, there's a causa, there's like a how that we have.
Interessante, questo è un confronto tra un personaggio vestito soltanto da oggetti in game, quindi oggetti lootati nel gioco, e un personaggio vestito con oggetti trovati nello shop. E andiamo avanti.
Like regional looks, like the notion of like, there's a causa, there's like a how's
Sì, ma
our
non
look,
fanno
and there's
ridere.
a fractured peaks look, and that kind of thing. That just
Cioè, il problema è che non fanno ridere.
kind of interesting that when you go into a particular zone in the world and you start collecting loot, you're actually picking up pieces that are of that zone, so you can actually dress more like a person from that zone if you wanted to.
That's right, particularly with the legendary gear when you're leveling up 100%. Yeah, so there's a lot more to discover even after that as you get into world tiers and more.
Did you want to, Kegan, you want to talk us through some of the
Yeah,
examples?
let's take a look at some of the shop armors.
This is tongue ripping, right?
Yeah, there's like,
No,
you can see
no.
blood right out of their mouth, right there.
I don't know if the names are final, but this guy, I think his name is Death Raven, the shop guy. But yeah, so you can see sort of like a side by side of in-game armor for the barb versus like a shop armor.
I think I just want to one thing. I think it's so funny that we accidentally got these really awesome poses for the in-game armors, and all the shop armors are just a person standing.
Just deadpan.
Like this was
Just checking his look in the mirror.
This
Like,
wasn't
you're not gonna
completely
get-
intentional, but it was a funny.
It was
funny
totally
thing
an
that happened.
accident. It's because two different teams made the
it's-
pictures.
It's,
But yeah.
it's just funny. It's all.
But yeah, let's look through some of the other side by sides. Again, see
She's very excited to have found
she's
the
just like,
armor.
oh, I'm here.
Dio santo, perché sto guardando sta roba? Andiamo, raga, andiamo a giocare a Diablo 3, va? Intanto qui fa vedere anche una sorceress in game versus una sorceress shoppata, e tutti che ridono, ok?
And then we have one of my favorites from the shop there. Oh yes, and this is rogue
This is
side
rogue.
by side, so you can see. I think the shop rogue here is called Deathwalker. So keep an eye out.
Comunque sono dei paraculo, hanno preso delle skin molto belle che si possono trovare in gioco, in modo da dare l'impressione che in game puoi trovare delle skin ancora più belle di quelle che trovi
Again,
nello
see,
shop.
She's very excited to have found
she's
the
just like,
armor.
oh, I'm here. And then we have one of my favorites from the shop there. Oh
No,
yes,
no, ma
and this is rogue side by side.
il gioco è
so you can
bellissimo a
see, I
livello
think,
di skin,
the
abbiamo
shop
sempre
rogue here is
detto.
called Deathwalker. So keep an eye out for tons of really cool, diverse
I love the
fantasies in the
tassets.
shop.
I love the tassets on the in-game armor, and I love the
Sì, no, è
pauldrons on
cringe ad un
the shop
livello,
armor.
senza
She's a
indette.
tacit.
There's honestly like
I've been in fantasy games
the
for a long time.
MTX is focused on collection, right?
Cioè io non so se sono vecchio io, forse sono io che sono vecchio dentro, Askez sicuramente la penserebbe così come me, anzi probabilmente sarebbe ancora più incazzato di me, però è di un cringe questa comunicazione fintamente divertente con loro che ridono, si scassano, ah grande che battuta hai fatto, no che ridere, tutto fintissimo, è di un cringe veramente imbarazzante. Cioè, fate i seri, date le informazioni sul gioco e boom, senza fare tutte queste finte battute che devono apparire euforici.
There's
mia.
honestly like
I've been in fantasy games
the
for a long time.
MTX is focused on collection, right? Like it's not like we're trying to like put only the cool stuff in one channel or the other. There's awesome stuff to collect from the game and the show.
And like you said earlier, like you can mix and match, create
Bello
your own
questo.
fantasy, which is really cool.
See, now
so.
we're talking my language with the necro. But like, for example, if I really
Fighissimo
like the
questo
in-game
negro.
look, but I want that the shop helmet. Like when I buy that armor set, I can take that helmet and apply it to my in-game if I wanted to. Yes.
That's right, and you can dye everything.
Oh, in the
So,
wardrobe,
like,
I can actually recolor it.
Ed è possibile colorare, vabbè questo lo sapevamo già dalla beta in realtà, che è possibile colorare ogni pezzo delle di armi e armature.
Too.
yeah, you can dye everything
Delle
from
armature,
the
in
shop
realtà.
and in the game. I think there are 8 colors in the dye
Time
palette,
is
so
money,
yeah.
friend.
Yeah, if you haven't had a chance to check that out, during
Ecco, nel frattempo, permettetemi di ringraziare Finalioco TV che si è abbonato per 4 mesi, grandissimo, vero massivo postumano, grazie mille di cuore Finalioco. Sì, sono d'accordo, troppo cringe, veramente, io sto morendo dal cringe, raga, cioè, troppo. Comunque, Silma stai buono e non provocare.
during Server Slam, you should make sure that you get a chance to play the wardrobe and
Goditi le tue fortune per una volta che ti capitano, boom.
try dyeing some gear.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's customization, and then one more thing is related to customization, not tied to appearances and looks, which I think we already have a good coverage on. But you will also be adding new like legendary powers, like I called out before, and also new unique items with every new
Nuovi
new
oggetti,
season.
nuovi
Make sure there's,
oggetti,
like, new
nuovi
builds and,
power,
and ways to
legendary
kind of, like,
powers,
create
quindi nuovi
customized
poteri
characters.
And those will stay.
leggendari.
Those aren't seasonal. Those
Yeah,
are-
those will be going to the Eternal Realm as well as the Seasonal Realm, and they're going to be evergreen. They're going to be there after the season is over, which continue to add to the pool.
And so speaking of evergreen, like that's true. Like there's potential to add side quests and things like that. Like there's ways to continue to enrich the open world through seasons that will actually stay as people sort of move from the season into the Eternal Realm or to the next season. Yes.
Yep, 100%. We are going to be looking for those opportunities to kind of continue to add to the world of Diablo 4 and continue to build out Sanctuary. These are things that we're really excited about as a team.
And we never actually. I think that maybe that might have been the first time someone's mentioned the.
Nel frattempo permettetemi di ringraziare tutti i nostri nuovi massivi che si sono iscritti durante questa live. Abbiamo, aspettate un attimo, abbiamo Ramingo 1, Ricamiu, poi Bofur, Stershard, Shaka84B e Scorticus 1. Grandi ragazzi, veri massivi. Benvenuti su MMO.it. Scusate per l'incazzatura, ma stasera va così. Di solito sono più calmo e più tranquillo, però stasera mi hanno tirato fuori le bestemmie. Mi hanno veramente tirate fuori le bestemmie.
These are things that we're really
Andiamo
excited about as a
avanti.
team.
And we never actually. I think that maybe that might have been the first time someone's mentioned the Eternal Realm. But like that is the intention, much like Diablo 3, that a seasonal character will be in the season playing everything that we've been talking about so far, and then when that season ends, that character will then move to the Eternal Realm where it will live on, and you can choose to play there, or you can choose for the next season while the new season.
Allora sì, qui ha chiarito che esattamente come in Diablo 3, quando finisce una stagione, il personaggio che ha giocato a quella stagione passerà automaticamente alla Standard League, no? Per dirla con un termine alla Path of Exile, quindi alla modalità normale del gioco.
Seasonal character and go again. Yeah.
That's absolutely right. So the characters will get merged down in the Eternal Realm at the end of the season, giving you an opportunity to take some of the
Eternal
stuff that they
Realm
collected
si
over a
chiama.
period of time,
Ecco.
and then build new characters as part of the next.
Abbiamo scoperto una cosa importante, il corrispettivo della Standard League di Path of Exile in Diablo 4 si chiama Eternal Realm, quindi il reame eterno.
The end of the season, giving you an opportunity to take some of the stuff that they collected over that period of time, and then build new characters as part of the next season.
Yeah, there's no reason to feel like to shy away from starting a new character.
Grazie mille Scorticus, grazie anche a Bofur, grandi. Sì, sì, sì,
Around the
pessima
season,
comunicazione
'cause you will
purtroppo. Speriamo che il
retain all
gioco
that
sia meglio di
progress.
questa
Absolutely.
comunicazione, va?
Okay, cool. And
Because you will retain all of that progress. But,
Absolutely.
okay, cool. And so, what about when we think about when I play the main game outside of a season? We know we have capstone dungeons to be able to change my difficulty tier. We know that at the end there's some mysterious level 100 boss that I want to try to get max out and prove I can beat this level 100 boss at level cap. Like
Ha confermato che ci sarà un boss finale, un ultimo boss raggiungibile al livello 100 e che rappresenterà l'ultima sfida del gioco, se vogliamo.
Are there other things within seasons that are kind of like that, or how do I think about that sort of notion about like this sort of looking to the horizon of what I want to do?
Well, once again, Rod Ferguson, I couldn't ask for a better tee up in this case. Let's discuss the idea of aspirational challenges. So, with every season, we
Aspirational
want to build
challenges,
upon
le
the
sfide aspirazionali. Mi sta dicendo una cosa molto motivational.
idea of aspirational challenges. So, with every season, we want to continue to build upon the end game and the goals that players can have for themselves with every season of Diablo 4. You know, and we've got some particularly big ideas as we go through the first couple seasons when the game launches. So, with every season, particularly big ideas as we go through the first couple seasons when the game launches. So, with every season, but we do want to continue to add these really, really pinnacle challenges for players to go and engage with.
Pickle challenges?
Pinnacle challenges.
Pinnacle.
I think you said,
Did I say
I
pickle
honestly heard
challenges?
We all heard pickle
zombies
challenges.
and pickles is,
Yeah.
All right,
There
okay,
we
well,
go.
fair enough. All right, so
Throw in
maybe
some mayo in there.
at
It's a
SummerSlam.
sandwich.
With
see,
slaw.
this is the level.
No comment.
Of respect that Joseph Pipe War, Substitute Game Director, gets on Diablo 4.
I'm looking forward to the pickle challenges. All I'm
Yeah,
saying.
same. Okay, so
Basta
basically-
ridere, basta. Ma veramente, ma è un tonno pazzesco. Ti fanno impazzire. Mi fanno impazzire. Cioè, non so, cioè continuano a ridere.
Director gets on Diablo 4.
I'm looking forward to the pickle challenges. All I'm saying.
Yeah, same. Okay, so basically, we want to make sure that we've got these new big challenges for players to go and engage with every time we release a season. And as we go, we'll continue to add more depth to this. One thing we want to be very careful about is we're not looking to just sort of like arbitrarily continue to make the game longer and longer to play.
Right.
That's not the goal. Again, we are balanced around hitting level 100, earning your Paragon points, getting all of your legendary unique items. That's the real focus of power progression for the player. We want to provide new and distinct opportunities for players to kind of express that power and new goals for them to chase over the course of the season, without necessarily making like just more stuff that you have to go through in order to play the game. So yeah, things we're very excited about. New bosses, new major encounters, new dungeons, new.
Raga, io vi chiedo scusa, non sono più concentrato, non ho capito una sega. Cioè, voi avete capito cosa sono queste aspirational challenges, queste sfide aspirazionali? Io non l'ho capito, cioè ha detto fuffa, ha detto ci saranno nuove robe per tenervi impegnati, coinvolti lungo il gioco, durante le stagioni, battere le season, eccetera. Sì, non ho capito niente. Non lo so, poi non so se è un problema mio, che ormai non sono più concentrato, dopo quello che è successo in questa conferenza, ho chiaramente perso la concentrazione, oppure se davvero non ha detto nulla. Non lo so, ecco, fatemi sapere se voi avete capito qualcosa e se effettivamente è un problema mio di concentrazione, oppure se non ha detto assolutamente nulla.
Without necessarily making like just more stuff that you have to go through in order to play the game. So yeah, things we're very excited about. New bosses, new major encounters, new dungeons,
Nuovi boss, nuovi dungeon, nuovi major encounter, nuovi eventi.
new things. And then as we see how players are reacting to the game as it is, we'll continue to build in that direction as well.
Yeah, and I think it's really interesting when we talked about like side quests and things like that. It's also true kind of for the end game is that we may use seasons to experiment with new in-game features, and then if it's working really well, we might decide to keep it. If it's not working quite so well, we may have it leave with the season.
Ok, questo è interessante.
We may use seasons to experiment with new in-game features.
Loro potrebbero sperimentare nuove feature. Potrebbero sperimentare nuove feature in game nelle stagioni, e se poi queste avranno successo, dalle stagioni passeranno al gioco vero e proprio. Quindi da contenuti stagionali diventeranno dei veri e propri contenuti che andranno a espandere l'endgame del gioco base.
And then if it's working really well, we might decide to keep it. If it's not working quite so well, we may have it leave with the season and then maybe bring it back later. And what I like about the kind of quarterly seasonal flow we have going is that it allows us to experiment a little bit and see what works and what doesn't. And if it doesn't work, we know it's only there for 3 months. If it does work, hey, maybe we should have it stick around. So it's a great opportunity to try stuff out.
Absolutely, particularly as it relates to content too. It's like just being able to bring in like these really tough encounters and different bosses and things of that nature. And then these.
Penso siano quelle di Diablo 3 con i completi e le sfide che potevi fare. È possibile, come già succede in PoE. Sì, è probabile che sia come dite voi, che abbiate ragione, Scoticus ed Opic.
too. So like just being able to bring in like these really tough encounters and different bosses and things of that nature. And then these mechanical features, as we see how they perform and we see how players react to them, we may or may not decide to keep them on, to your point. And if they're particularly popular, we decide to keep them in.
Awesome.
We want to hear from players about what's working, what they're enjoying, what's, and also, what kinds of fantasies they want us to make in the shop. So let us know anything that you want, gameplay or from the shop and Battle
Yeah,
Pass.
it's like I said earlier, this is ultimately going to be a conversation. And as we see how players are actually playing Diablo 4, that's going to help us advise us on how we want to build Diablo 4.
Corpse exploding necro look. I'm looking for a corpse exploding necro
I
look.
think we got you covered.
Oh, okay.
You're going to have to
Kind
stay
of
tuned.
Necro look. I'm looking for a corpse exploding necro
I
look.
think we got you covered.
Oh, okay.
You're going to have to
Kind of.
stay tuned for future seasons.
Okay, good to
Yeah,
know.
and I will
covered.
say, like, I know we glossed over it really quickly, but we were talking about like meta changes and things like that, and like balancing and whatnot.
Ormai
That is
rido
included
anch'io,
in the
ragazzi. Ormai rido anch'io.
Okay, good to know.
And I will
covered.
say, like, I know we glossed over it really quickly, but we were talking about like meta
magari
changes and
Chris
things like that, and,
Metzen
like,
e Mike
balancing and whatnot.
Moreira.
That is included in the feedback. That is incredibly important for
Yeah.
hearing from players related to that.
Yeah, I don't want to skip over that either. Thank you, Adam, for calling that out. So, if Diablo 4 is a game about choice, we want to make sure that we don't allow balance issues persist so long that they start to kind of interrupt or disrupt that choice that we're trying to provide for players. We don't want like any one
Arrivederci, Stashad. Buonasera. Vai, vai. Per fortuna che c'è qualcuno che ancora fa notare la comunicazione ipocrita di queste multinazionali miliardarie che fanno miliardi di dollari e non hanno rispetto per il pubblico. In un'era in cui l'informazione e la comunicazione sui videogiochi ormai è passa al 90% tramite canali di influencer che non fanno critica ma fanno marketing e quindi non hanno interesse a diffondere informazione su un prodotto ma soltanto a pompare l'hype. Ecco, vai da uno di quei canali di influencer marketing che hanno soltanto interesse a pompare l'hype. Andate pure, ragazzi. MMO.it è un progetto diverso. Noi siamo diversi. Noi facciamo critica, noi facciamo informazione, non siamo influencer, non facciamo marketing. È già pieno di migliaia di canali là fuori che fanno gli influencer, che fanno marketing, che sono pagati per pompare l'hype. Non è quello che facciamo noi. E con questo dichiaro ufficialmente chiusa la polemica tra me e il sottoscritto.
particular to build feels so powerful that there's not a reason to play other builds within a season. So we want to make adjustments to make sure that player builds that might not be seeing as much play and get buffed and adjusted appropriately to make sure that they do see more use as time goes on. That is important to us. We will be making those changes on a regular basis.
Yeah, we don't want one way to play. We want every class and to have builds that all are equally as effective in terms of being successful. We don't want to be like, only whirlwind barbarians can succeed, so only everybody's playing.
Yeah, that's
right?
the ideal. The reality is that every season will be like something that's a little bit more powerful than something else. Sure. We just want to make sure that the distinction, the divide there is not so great that it feels like you're making the wrong choice mathematically to ever play anything beyond whatever's considered meta for that moment.
Right. Well, right. It's not like RPG players are min-maxers at all. They never try to do the most with the least ever.
No.
Joe,
like,
dead man.
I'm not signing up for that. I think I think in the
non ancora
spirit
smesso
of
animali.
managing expectations and ripping, I think for
ormai rido anch'io, dato che a quanto pare se non ridi la gente toglie il follow e se ne va, rido anch'io.
in the spirit of managing expectations and ripping band-aids off, I do think there's something we haven't talked about that
Diciamo
we should
così,
really say,
tutti a ridere.
knowing that we haven't talked about, which is leaderboards. I think the notion that I think people with Diablo 3 and even like D2R as an example, the main thing about the D2R season is a leaderboard. And so just saying that in the early seasons, at least for season 1 and 2, there will not be a leaderboard. And that is something, again, as I said, a lot of stuff's already in flight. We understand the importance of leaderboards. We understand people wanting to be competitive in their PvE play, competitive in their build play. Importance of leaderboards. We understand people wanting to be competitive in their PvE play, competitive in their build play, be able to show their mastery of certain things. And
sì,
so it's
l'importanza del
definitely on our
leaderboard, delle
backlog that is
classifiche,
the
va
thing we're
bene.
working towards, to provide the player community with leaderboards as we move forward through seasons, but it's not something you're going to see in season 1 and potentially not in season 2. Again, I'm just managing expectations so you're not yelling at me on Twitter after. We hear you, we know we want it, we're working on it, it's just not going to be there at launch.
Hanno detto state tranquilli, sappiamo che volete le leaderboard, sappiamo che alla community piacciono, ci stiamo lavorando, ma non saranno presenti al lancio, arriveranno in seguito. Sì, tranquillo, Scoticus, non lo distruggo il controller, anche perché poi lo dovrei pagare.
Or
That's right.
season 1 and 2.
That's right. So we're gonna take the time to do them right. We'll bring them on as long as soon as we can.
Awesome. Well, I know we have a lot of questions here, and we've been collecting questions through chat and so forth like that. So I did want to go into at least a little bit of Q&A from people in chat. So if you guys have questions, feel free to throw them in chat, and we'll try to answer as many as possible. But I know we did touch on this really quickly as we're collecting these questions right now. But when will Season 1 launch?
Mid
L'ha già
to late
detto.
July.
Mid to late July.
Mid to
So-
late
I mean,
July.
and the reason around the timing is
Metà o fine luglio, quindi più di un mese, diciamo un mese e mezzo circa. No, non ci saranno al lancio i leaderboard, si futia.
mid to late July.
Mid to late July.
Beh,
So,
I mean, the reason around the timing is twofold. One is we want to make sure that we will launch this season, we launch it into the best state the game can be in to accept that season. We don't, there's a launch of a game of this scale there can always be some things that we have to work through and settle in. But two is just as Joe talked about, you need to be able to get through the campaign before you start the season. So by having enough time in what we call the pre
Sì, per dare tempo ai giocatori di giocare e finire la campagna prima dell'inizio della Season 1. Per questo la prima stagione inizierà appunto un mese e mezzo dopo il lancio del gioco.
season. And so in
Buonasera.
the preseason, Kagan, no battle pass because it's a preseason, but there will be basically a sort of a reduced scope shop, yes?
Yeah, there'll be some things you can buy. You can sort of get a sense of what we have. There's, armor sets, mounts, and mount armors, and then there's some other cool things like emotes and headstones. So, like if you die on the field of battle,
Time
you
is
can
money,
leave behind
friend.
a monument that is special.
Nice. And as we said, hardcore.
Grande, meno male che sei tu, dai Regraph, che ci supporti, grande. E grande, grazie mille anche Galatimus, che si è abbonato che ha regalato un abbonamento, anzi, ha regalato un abbonamento ad Antanimani, grandissimo, vero massivo, postumano, grazie mille di cuore Galatimus. Top. Avanti così, dai.
Well, you can leave behind a monument that is.
Sì, comunque è incredibile quanta fuffa c'è, Andrea, incredibile. Cioè, dai, andate alle prossime domande e state, insomma, state sull'essenziale. Invece c'è tanta di quella fuffa.
Nice. And as we
Grazie
said,
Galatimus,
hardcore players,
buona visione, buona
careful with
serata, buona visione e buona serata anche a
PvP when you
te.
die. Nice. And as we said, hardcore players, careful of PvP. When you die, you're dead.
Yeah, dead forever.
Dead forever.
Yeah.
So,
In the game.
in the no. We come to your house. We know where you
We
live.
don't have that kind of budget.
I thought that was
snow
our,
crash.
I thought that was our butcher April Fool's thing.
It
We
is-
come
it
to your
is.
house and we kill you.
True hardcore mode. So
Questa è
that
carina,
is a
eh.
popular question that we've gotten where
Non mi ha
people
fatto
were
ridere.
confused by like, hey, if you die in hardcore, like, do you come back to life, or do you just like start off like with no gear or something
Roll
like that?
again,
It's like,
start
no,
again.
Yeah, you
start
start
all
again.
over again.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
that's and in PvP too. People.
But
Yes.
and that speaks to something that
In pratica hanno confermato che se si fa un personaggio hardcore può morire sia in PvE che in PvP. Quindi anche in PvP, se voi avete un personaggio hardcore e quello viene seccato, è comunque morto. Quindi rip, finito. Mamma mia, Scoticus, non mi fate parlare, ragazzi, non mi fate parlare. Per chi si fosse connesso adesso, dopo ne parliamo, ragazzi, dopo facciamo il riassunto della conferenza, non vi preoccupate, c'è pochissimo da dire. Sappiate solo che probabilmente e credo che sia la conferenza più faticosa che abbia mai seguito in vita mia. E non sto esagerando. Credo non mi ricordo di aver mai seguito, di non aver mai dovuto seguire una conferenza così in tutta la mia vita.
as we talk about the shop and customization, is one of the things is that when you buy one of the things that's sort of different, the battle pass, as you talked about, is the armor and those sorts of things are class agnostic. That when I buy something or when I get something in the battle pass, I can apply it to whatever class I'm playing. But the shop is different because the shop you can actually target. I can go and say, oh, I want this necromancer look, and it doesn't go across.
And it's very specific to like the necromancer fantasy.
Right, but it's not character base, it's account based. So if I, for whatever reason, roll 5 necromancers, I can apply that armor to all 5 of them, right?
All future necromancers that you ever create. So
any
for
necromancer in
the
the future.
infinite rogue like me, you know, I'm gonna get a lot of value.
Right. Okay, great.
All right, I'm
Carry
gonna
that.
try to pronounce these names, and some of them are easy, thankfully. But I'm gonna try to include people.
I was going to say,
with
he's
these
like, I'm going to try this,
what
but Bob asks.
That's
and
a
you're like, good job. Adam."
Stuff on the back there. So
Ormai
we have a
anch'io,
question from
ragazzi.
Negative Capable. If we get the premium battle pass late, is the favor retroactively applied?
It is.
Cos'è?
Like,
If we get the premium battle pass late, is the favor retroactively applied?
it is. Like you will earn the favor, and then it will unlock the tiers that, like the premium tiers that you didn't unlock because you hadn't unlocked the premium battle pass yet.
Yeah, like you'll still earn everything in the free track as well. Like you're kind of making progress like the whole time.
The whole
It's just a
time.
question of
Yeah.
whether or not when you get the premium versions, when you get to get all the premium rewards you
Yeah,
move
then
unlock.
it'll just suddenly unlock all those like locked premium tiers that you already went through.
And just a reminder, premium tiers just being obviously the cosmetics blessings are part of the free.
That's
track.
right. There are no, there's no smoldering.
Obviously the.
Tiers that you already went through.
And just a reminder, premium tiers just being obviously the cosmetics blessings are part of the free.
That's
track.
right. There are no, there's
Sì,
no
vabbè,
smoldering
ovvio.
ash in there.
I cosmetic blessings fanno parte del Battle Pass gratuito. Speriamo di no, Galatimus. Guarda, se davvero tutti gli annunci d'ora in poi saranno così, credo che smetterò di seguire le conferenze perché stasera è stata una tortura. E non è ancora finita, non è ancora
Blessings are
finita.
part of the free.
That's
track.
right. There are no, there's no smoldering ash in there.
Ah, minchia, Inter 2-0.
Zero,
Yep.
no smoldering ash, no
Complimenti.
pay for power
In premium tiers, yeah.
in
There you go.
premium.
And the,
No pay for power at all.
exactly.
Yes.
I'm just saying no
Period.
smoldering ash in premium tiers.
Yes.
Also true.
But that's also, just to clarify, like that's also true of the season journey, is that if I, let's say, you know, I'm starting a new, I'm not getting the game till much later. It's season 2, and I'm buying the game at season 2. When I play the campaign, in the background, it's tracking the season journey accomplishments I'm doing while I'm playing the campaign. So it's not everything in the season journey is tied to like sort of open world seasonal play. It's also some things can be accomplished by playing the campaign. And so when I finish and I go into the seasons, all of a sudden, ding, 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 a bunch of stuff in the season journey it will complete. Yes?
Yeah, that's the expectations. You're able to move through that season journey a little more quickly if you start in the campaign. You might not be able to like finish every chapter as you go.
Non lo so quanto manca, Scoticus, la conferenza più lunga della mia
Finish
vita.
every chapter as you go, because there's going to be some things you have to kind of like participate in the season quest line or the season mechanics in order to be able to really get. But you will be making progress the entire time. But I don't think your hypothetical case is likely to happen because obviously everybody is going to buy Diablo 4 on or before launch.
Right.
So yeah,
It's a good call.
Question from.
QR code right here. QR, if you would like to. I did not see that when I said that. Now I'm even happier.
Question from Juck.
A me questa conferenza è un cringe totale. Un cringe.
Juck Lax. Around what level will you end up getting to?
Sono drogati, ragazzi. Li
to
hanno
the
riempiti di
mount
bamba, io non so
specifically.
cosa
problem
dire.
was-
Getting to the mount specifically.
The problem wasn't the name, it was the
Yeah,
question
it was the
itself.
question itself. I'm just trying to like work correct.
I think that is around level 30-ish.
Questo è interessante. Forse sono riuscito a fare una domanda interessante. Per le mount, per ottenere la prima mount, sarà più o meno attorno al livello 30 la quest relativa.
Yeah, it's around level 30-ish.
Because
It depends, like,
Yeah, it really
depends on
depends.
what it is.
every one of these
True.
questions is going to be depending on how you play.
Yeah.
Are you
Yeah.
open world playing and you're driving up your level before you do the golden path in
Yep.
the campaign? Like, basically the horsey,
Yeah.
as you and pony, we use different names for these, but the mount is unlocked as part of your campaign progression.
Right.
So you have to play the campaign at some point to unlock the mount. If you decide, I'm not touching the campaign, I'm going to get to level 100 just in the open world, you will not unlock that horse.
That's completely true.
Yeah.
question from.
Sì. Certo, ragazzi, dopo facciamo Diablo 3. L'ho già iniziato ieri, Daikill, quindi ho già scelto la classe. Ho fatto il crociato, anche per una questione di coerenza concettuale con quello che avevo fatto in Diablo 2. In Diablo 2 ho fatto il paladino e anche qui ho fatto il corrispettivo, l'erede del paladino che è il crociato. E l'ho chiamato Palaplinio esattamente come su Diablo 2. Madonna, ragazzi, non ho più voce.
K2, are you going to move the altars each season? So they're in different locations every single season?
Right now, the plan is not to move them every season. That's something we've discussed as a team. We'll see what the feedback is like, but right now we don't want you to have to rediscover the locations every time if you're looking for them, but we'll see how things adjust as we play.
Aspetta, questo è interessante.
They're in different locations each season, so they're in different locations every single season?
Right now, the plan is not to move them every season. That's something we've discussed as a team. We'll see what the feedback is like, but right now we don't want you to have to rediscover the locations every time.
Non vogliamo che dobbiate riscoprire i luoghi ogni volta, ad ogni nuova season, dice. Quindi detto così, sembra che voglia dire che la mappa sarà già esplorata, a patto di averla già esplorata con un personaggio nella modalità normale, standard. Quando poi giocherete le season con un nuovo personaggio, si potrà skippare la storia e da quanto ha detto pare che anche la mappa sarà già esplorata.
If you're looking for them, but we'll see how things adjust as we play.
Però anche qui dicono we will see how things adjust when we play, quindi anche qui si tengono sul generico. È molto confusa come comunicazione perché sostanzialmente non confermano nulla, dicono tutto e il contrario di tutto. Ok, sì, è sta cosa di Diablo 3, perfetto.
Not hard for us to do.
And just to mess with you, we might anyway. So
Maybe now I will.
yeah, exactly.
Question from Slimy Saul.
People need a bit of
yeah,
we need
great
more
names.
self-esteem in our community. I'm just telling you right now.
What about seasonal cosmetics? Are they account bound?
They are. So like
Okay.
if you unlock it,
I cosmetici stagionali sono account bound, come le mount. Questo è interessante.
Cosmetics, are they account bound?
they are. So like if you unlock a
Hai visto la grande conferenza, Goodfellas?
I assume you're talking about the shop and battle pass cosmetics?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you unlock a armor for your barbarian, all future barbarians that you ever make, and on the Eternal Realm, on the Seasonal Realm, it's usable on all of them.
Ok, account bound, bene.
Kiddo asks,
Easy.
Okay.
do ashes transfer over from previous seasons?
No.
Do ashes transfer over from previous seasons?
No. So with every new season, you'll be resetting and starting to go through your Ash collection once again.
It's also like one of the things maybe we didn't call it, but like the season, because there's season blessings, there was actually one that was top secret. So there'll be blessing. Those blessings we'll be playing with those. So
Yeah.
there'll be season specific blessings, and we may mess with what blessings are working or not. Again, it's part of the quality of life. Where we go like, hey, we see this as an issue, or this is not working the way, or we see another opportunity. So this is another place we can play every season.
Question from
Hey, we see this as an issue, or this is not working the way, or we see another opportunity. So this is another place we can play every season.
Question from Infernal Odin. Do you need to have the premium battle pass for the blessings? You
You do not.
you don't.
That's why the
that's why
ashes
the
are on the-
ashes things. Infernal Odin. Do you need to have the premium battle pass for the blessings?
No, per avere i blessing non hai bisogno di avere il Battle
Yeah,
Pass
you
Premium,
don't.
questa era
That's
ovvia,
why-
l'abbiamo già
That's why
capito.
the
Ashes are on the
ashes
free
are
track.
on the free track itself. So, and you need the ashes for the blessings themselves.
And it's, again, there's a two.
Secondo me stanno per ridere, ragazzi. Lo vedete che sono carichi? Sono carichi. Secondo me tempo qualche secondo e scoppiano a ridere come dei matti.
Two conditions. You have to have the favor to get to those free tiers, and you need to have the level requirement so that you, again, so everybody's at the same place, kind of from a play perspective. So there's no way to accelerate that, and that you're somehow using tier skips to pay for power. You're not. It's because it's on the free track, and you have to have a certain level requirement to be able to unlock that that ash to be able to use in the blessing.
This is a long name, and I'm not going to try. Is every season to level 100?
Oh, I thought that was their name.
Oh, that is
There's
all.
a question
that
from
could
is
be-
every season. Oh my God, that is a long name.
every season.
Non l'avevo detto, ecco la risata, perfetto.
There's a question
That
from
could
is
be.
every season.
E siamo tutti più contenti.
Every season
Evviva.
is every season to level 100.
I mean, the season is till to the point where the player decides they've hit all the goals they have for
Till you
themselves.
cry,
each season.
uncle.
But I mean, you are going to start level 1, and you are going to play level 100. after
Till you
themselves each
cry,
season.
uncle.
But I mean, you are going to start level 1, and you are going to play level 100. if you choose to, with every season.
Vabbè, in pratica ogni stagione può andare dal livello 1 al livello 100, grazie al cazzo. Mamma mia, che informazioni che ci stanno dando.
But it's up for a player to choose what goals they want to really go after.
Question from Wittels. Will shop items stay in the shop, or will there be limited cosmetics too?
Oh, that is a great question. Sorry. So when items, the shop is actually personalized. There's limited shelf space in there, so you'll see a set of items in the shop, and then they'll swap out periodically. So in preseason, once a week on Tuesdays, some new things will come into the shop, some old things will come out of the shop. But when things leave, they're not like put into a vault. They will come back into the shop fairly frequently. Yeah.
And that's the personalized. We actually have a thing.
Out of the shop,
Okay.
but when things leave, they're not like put into a vault. They will come back into the shop fairly frequently. Yeah.
Ok, comunque gireranno gli oggetti cosmetici nello shop, ci sarà una rotazione, come succede in tutti i giochi di questo tipo. Sapete che gli oggetti nello shop ruotano sempre per triggerare la FOMO, per stimolare la fear of missing out nelle persone che così acquistano. E quindi ormai funziona. Ormai funziona così, ragazzi, purtroppo. Streaming disagio, a sorpresa, però sì, c'è tanto disagio. Noi frega nulla, se li in camera non gli frega, se gli altri fanno una battutina. Sì.
And that's the personalized. We actually have a thing like recommended for you, which is one of the things that's really interesting. Is like when something leaves the shop, it actually goes into a pool of things that can be recommended. So if someone like Kagan, who's constantly playing Rogue, or somebody like me who's constantly playing Necro, they'll actually say like, hey, you seem to be playing a lot of Rogue. Here's some Rogue things that may either be new or something you may have missed previously, or hey, there's some Necro stuff. And so it's one of the things that's really nice about the shop is it has a little bit of that, intelligence, and then that has a sort of recommendation engine where it can go and say like, hey, I noticed these you seem to be really interested in blood-looking things. Here's a new blood-looking thing, that kind of stuff. So I think it'll be a nice way to keep the shop fresh and interesting and actually tailored to the person. So just to be like, so in the recommend for you, like Kagan's thing, her shop may look different with Rogue, as mine would be filled with Necros potentially. I mean, there'll be.
You'll get a mix,
right,
but
but you'll
like
get
it'll make. We want to make sure that the shop is serving you things that are actually interesting to you, and that we're not like forcing you to scroll through lots and lots of pages to find the exact thing you want. So, but to answer the question, no, when things leave the shop, they are not gone for good. They will rotate back in, and the shop is trying to show you things that you want to buy. Yeah.
Right, but there are like, it's not just that section where things are being recommended. You also have class-specific areas. So even if I'm playing Necro all the time, but I'm really curious, I'm about to go play a Rogue, I want to go look at the Rogue, that stuff's all there too. It's not like I'm only limited to the stuff that it's recommending. I can go browse the shop as well on other classes.
Grazie.
That's right.
Volevo proprio sapere quali microtransazioni potrò acquistare nello shop. È esattamente il tipo di informazione che non vedevo l'ora di conoscere. È così, Dire Graph, è così. E per contratto devono ridere, ogni minuto, massimo 2 minuti devono ridere per trasmettere allegria e felicità. Perché ce l'hanno scritta a contratto.
Do you lose all season progress when a hardcore character dies?
So the things you complete in the season journey are all account bound, so you won't lose that progress. But the things that you collect on your character, that stuff's going to go away.
Yeah. So if you happen to find like really good gear or something, you're wearing it there, gone, just gone.
Right. But the chapters you've unlocked or the favor you've earned,
that all stays.
Absolutely true. Yep.
Yeah, that is true.
Yep.
Bello. Avete sentito? Bello apporto. Attenzione, ha alzato la mano per dire ah sì, avete ragione, è così. Bello.
Absolutely true. Yep.
Yeah, that is true.
Yep.
Risentiamo questo grande apporto che ha portato alla discussione la signora.
The chapters you've unlocked or the favor you've earned,
that all stays.
Absolutely true. Yep.
Yeah, that is true.
Yep.
That all stays.
Absolutely true. Yep.
Yeah, that is true.
Yep.
Grande filosofia, ragazzi. Grandi messaggi universali sulla vita, sulla morte, sull'amore. Come ho fatto a vivere senza questo messaggio universale?
And then This is actually something that we should clarify here, because someone Tesday was asking. I'm missing something, or Ashes, is it still a pay-to-win mechanic, since you can advance 20 levels on the pass by paying? The thing that you may have not caught was that there is a secondary requirement, which is you have to get to a specific level.
That's right.
If to unlock that specific ash and
So
use
even
that.
if
Ok, interessante. Hanno preso una domanda un po' più scomoda in cui si parla di pay to win e loro si difendono dicendo che il gioco comunque non è pay to win perché tu puoi anche comprare il Battle Pass accelerato di 20 livelli, ma comunque non potrai accedere a certe ricompense finché non raggiungerai un certo livello nel gioco. Quindi comunque devi raggiungere, che ne so, il livello 20, il livello 30, il livello 40, il livello 50 per sbloccare ogni volta le ricompense legate al Battle Pass. Quindi si difendono così, ecco. La stanza è molto bella, anche gli oggetti che sono in questa stanza. C'è questa statua con un busto di... Chi è lui? È Mephisto? O è Mephisto o è Baal. Vabbè, comunque c'è il signore dell'istruzione, c'è appunto la statuetta del Primeval, poi c'è l'arcangelo tira il dietro, poi qui c'è il set di tarocchi di Diablo e poi c'è la Collector's Edition, ragazzi, niente poco di meno che la Collector's Edition, quindi sì, sono belli gli oggetti, il problema sono gli sviluppatori.
that's right.
If to unlock that specific ash and
So
use
even
that.
if you bust through those first 20 tiers by buying the accelerated pass, you won't have met the secondary level requirement
Va
on
bene.
the free tiers that have smoldering ashes in them, so you won't be able to unlock them faster that way.
Va
Yep,
bene.
exactly. Funny question from Tactica. When will we get Rod's hoodie in the shop?
Il riassunto è questo, Galatimus.
Rod's hoodie has been in the shop. Unfortunately, I sent people that were like, "Hey, if you want to go to this gear shop," and they only have smalls.
So technically, it's still there.
If you can buy, if you're small, which I am not, we are very aware of some certain things that we have in the shop that are very popular. One was the Lilith denim jacket with the hoodie sleeves that I think was awesome couple of years ago that we didn't. I don't know why we didn't bring back.
We
And
were literally just talking about this before the stream started too.
yeah, exactly. And so we know we hear the comments that I wear this because in any interview that's required me to sit, I need to hide all the folds and stuff. So I use this as my shelter. But
Vabbè,
people
ormai
like
non
it, so
stiamo
I
più
need
parlando di
to we need to bring it
informazioni.
back in the shop and get more stock. So
La discussione ha trasceso ormai.
that's where we are.
Let's see. There is a question regarding when you skip the campaign. This is from Master Barbarian. You're probably playing Barbarian.
It's not guaranteed.
Shocker.
When you skip the campaign, what level do you actually start at?
Level 1.
Level 1.
Every character you make a Diablo 4 is going to start at level 1.
Okay,
Sì,
and I
beh.
think I answered this wrong on Twitter. So
Vabbè, è ovvio, stanno rispondendo a domande abbastanza ovvie. Ogni volta che inizia un nuovo personaggio, questo personaggio parte a livello 1, ma chi l'avrebbe mai detto? Però puoi skippare la
Every
campagna.
character you make a Diablo 4 is going to start at level 1.
okay, and I think I answered this wrong on Twitter. So you can correct me. When someone asked me when you skip the campaign, where do you start? I knee-jerk said you start in the cave, and that's not true, right? When you skip the campaign, you start in Kyovashad.
Yes. So for season
Ok,
1,
quando skippi la campagna inizi da Kyovashad, nell'atto 1.
and for the preseason, when you skip the campaign, you'll start in Kyovashad. So for season 1 and for the preseason, when you skip the campaign, you'll start in Kyovashad. Might not always be in Kyovashad.
Ooh. Foreshadowing. Dun, dun, dun.
I guess, yeah, sure.
You start in a grave as a zombie that you wake up and then you go into that.
It's kind of zombie theme. Maybe it is, I don't know.
Now, people are just completely going to believe that. Like,
I know,
it's a
that's the
zombie
fun.
thing.
I
All
was
pirates
when
and zombies from here on out.
just don't get like heavily attached to the zombie idea because it's not
Please
happening.
don't.
So like, it's not happening.
Will there be?
Ah, che ridere. Per fortuna stasera ci siamo fatti delle belle risate, ragazzi. Mi sento ringiovanito. Poi dicono che ridere, insomma, dicono che ridere aiuti, insomma, ingiovanisca, ecco, che fa bene alla salute, no? Ridere fa bene alla salute, insomma, tante grasse belle risate stasera. C'è anche una cosa che volevo dire, ma niente. Varie zone del mondo che decidevi tu. No, non mi risulta che Non mi risulta che abbiano mai detto questa cosa, Sifutia. Che iniziavi in zone del mondo che decidevi tu. No, beh, non credo. Non mi risulta che l'abbiano mai detto. Forse ti confondi con l'andamento non lineare della campagna. Avevano detto che la campagna può essere giocata in modo non lineare, cioè uno può scegliere di, non so, andare prima nel deserto, poi andare nella zona della giungla, poi andare nella zona innevata. E quindi può scegliere l'ordine con cui giocare i vari atti. Però decidere dove startare, sinceramente non l'ho mai sentito, Sifutia. Non credo che, cioè non credo, come l'abbiamo già visto nella beta. Nella beta si inizia tutti da, come si chiama? Fractured Peaks, i picchi frantumati, a Chiova Shad. Si inizia tutti da lì, raga. Buonasera intanto Bomilcale, buonasera a tutti.
Unlockable mounts or cosmetic
Sì, no, infatti sono d'accordo anch'io, Pomilcale. Non si è mai detto che si può scegliere la zona.
through defeating like gameplay challenges, or will those only be through the shop itself?
Yes, there are some mounts and other things you can collect, like trophies, other like, and certainly like titles and things along those lines that you will get from overcoming particular challenges throughout Diablo 4. So there's plenty of stuff to actually collect as well, not just even just like finding gear on the ground and picking it up and salvaging it. There's other things you'll get as like achievement level rewards for having completed certain kinds of content.
And seasons will have new titles and new things like that.
Yeah, seasons can have like new titles and like again the aspects or things you'll be collecting as you play.
And then this was a question about the server slam stuff, which was if
Guarda, Sifutia, se trovi questa informazione sul fatto che, cioè se trovi questa dichiarazione degli sviluppatori che hanno detto che si può iniziare a giocare a Diablo 4 in varie zone, linkala. Linkacela pure qua in chat che sono curioso. Però non mi risulta che l'abbiano mai detto.
and then this was a question about the server slam stuff, which was if you have the open
Ecco quello che volevo dire, mi è venuto in mente. Quando prima si parlava, Scorticus che dice: infatti sono sviluppatori non responsabili della comunicazione, per fortuna. Sì, è vero, Scorticus, però lui no. Lui è un community manager e in quanto community manager lui si occupa di comunicazione, come tutti i community manager. Gli altri tre, sì, effettivamente sono sviluppatori, sono chi più chi meno, ma sono designer o comunque leader dello sviluppo.
Seasons can have like new titles and like again the aspects or things you'll be collecting as you play.
and then this was a question about the server slam stuff, which was if they had the open beta app on PlayStation, do they need to download a different one? The answer is no, you won't. Here in like the next couple minutes or so, you will be able to 2 minutes. Well, 2-ish minutes, just in
2-ish
case.
minutes.
2-ish minutes.
Ok, sta finendo.
Please don't come after me at like 12 o'clock when it's like not available.
Oh no,
right
you should
then and
totally
there.
Pez radar on Twitter. Go after
Please
him.
don't. But PlayStation, that app will actually automatically update and apply all the
But
changes.
it's a fresh
that you'll
start.
have.
You're starting at level 1.
Yes, all your characters from beta do not move over with this server slam. You will have to start with fresh start characters.
And to be clear, like one good thing is this is a third opportunity to get. If you didn't get your wolf puppy pack, this is another opportunity. So if you reach level 20 with any character during Server Slam, which you have 48 hours to do it, and you could probably knock it out on a Friday with a little no lifing, but level 20 to get your beta puppy pack. And then we have a
lo
new
sappiamo.
reward around defeating a Shava at level 20.
C'è una nuova ricompensa per chi
and it has
sconfigge
to
il
be
world
level
boss
20.
a Shava a livello 20.
And so,
Look at this
delle-
fancy graphic.
now the reward is
It's like a car
Being
commercial.
revealed. Wait for it.
So
There it is.
to be super clear though, because I've had this question, it is not the horse or the horse's armor or
il
the horsey
corno.
or the pony.
Abbiamo
It is
capito.
actually the claw on the back, which we call the Shava's, the cry of a Shava or a Shava's cry.
The cry of a shop.
Il
Cry of a
corno di
Shava, because
Ashava.
if you were declawed, you would cry too. But you have to beat a Shava at level 20. If you beat a Shava at level 19, no claw for you.
That's right.
You'll be the one crying, not a Shava. So that was just mean.
But what if I have friends who can like carry me through the combat and I can just go
Nope.
there at level 9?
You have to be level 20 to get the claw. Like you can beat a Shava, but plus don't be that person. Those are 11 people who need another level 20 to show up. Like do not, if you go early, you're just bringing the team down. Don't go early. Get to level 20. It's not that hard. And then represent. And then you'll get the cool new mount trophy. And it's an example of one of the other cosmetic types we have is mount trophies.
Buonasera Askez. È stata la conferenza più delirante che abbia mai visto in vita mia. Tu probabilmente saresti impazzito, ma io per primo, io non ho più voce. Io non ho più voce. È stata una conferenza, è stata, credo, questa conferenza è stata l'apoteosi dello stile americano, per cui devono apparire tutti euforici, tutti contenti, tutti entusiasti per far vedere che il loro gioco porta allegria. E quindi sostanzialmente è un'ora e mezza che gli sviluppatori stanno ridendo, ridono per qualsiasi cosa, fanno battute e ridono, gli fanno una domanda e ridono, ma poi ridono di gusto, proprio e, e io a un certo punto non ce l'ho più fatta, cioè proprio ho sbroccato, mamma mia, sono impazzito, però non se ne può più, non se ne può più.
A lot of it is around achievements. Like we have stuff for PvP where you can demonstrate like
Sì, sì, 122 postumani perché abbiamo una grande community e il buon Edopic da solo ha regalato 10 abbonamenti, quindi un grande. Ma in generale tutti i nostri utenti sono dei grandi, a differenza degli sviluppatori di Blizzard che stasera veramente ci hanno fatto cringiare a dei livelli imbarazzanti. No, ma guarda, stasera è peggio del solito, Askez. Stasera è peggio del solito. È vero che un po' ormai nel 2023 un po' tutte le conferenze ti trattano come se fossi un bambino. Sì, ma stasera, ti giuro, peggio del solito.
mount trophies, but a lot of it is
È
around
stata tutta una
achievements. Like,
risata.
we have stuff for PvP where you can demonstrate like
Ma poi una risata, le risate finte, almeno fossero genuine queste risate, no? Invece proprio le risate fintissime, proprio corporate, che si vede che ce l'hanno scritto sul contratto, devi ridere per trasmettere l'idea che il gioco porti allegria. Proprio le risate finte.
we have is mount trophies, but a lot of it is around achievements. Like we have stuff for PvP where you can demonstrate like I'm a badass who kills other players, and so you can have a certain mount trophy for that. So it's a cool new reward. It's just we want people to go in, and so you'll have 9 chances. So what we've done is the game Server Slam will start on Friday at 9 a.m. And then, sorry, at noon, I apologize. Friday at noon, the game Server Slam will start. And then you basically have till Saturday at 9 a.m. to get to level 20. And then at 9 a.m., we start a Shava every 3 hours. So based on that, you'll have 9 chances to kill a Shava. So those are your windows of opportunity. So 9 chances.
Ok, sono 9 possibilità di uccidere Shava, quindi spawnerà per 9 volte
Friday
nel
getting
weekend.
to 20, and then Saturday trying to kill the Shava. And please get to 20 before. Don't be that person. Don't drag down your team.
There's a lot of time to get to 20, and a lot more opportunities now compared to even the beta, where Shava only spawned 4 times that whole entire weekend.
Right.
Now you have a lot more opportunities to actually take down a Shava. It is more of a challenge, as we said before.
Fewer legendaries, lower
Yep.
level cap.
Yep, it absolutely can be done on both world tiers, but if you're having a difficult time with a particular attempt, don't be afraid to step down to adventurer tier.
No shame.
Make it a little bit easier for
No
yourself,
shame,
potentially.
none
It's
at
up to
all.
Sì, da Airgraph, cioè, ma uno ogni tanto andrebbe benissimo, figuriamoci, però qui ogni minuto sono lì a ridere come dei pazzi. Io non per dire che l'avevo detto, però l'avevo detto. Cos'è che avevi detto? Che ridevano, Askez? Sì, cioè avevi detto che trattavano il consumatore come un bambino, ma quello lo sapevamo già. Per supportare il canale e il sito, grande Dopic, sei un grande. Avevo detto un'altra cosa, rispondo dopo alle altre domande, ragazzi.
One last
Siamo
question
alla fine.
before we
Siamo alla
will
fine.
wrap up, because
Se
this
Dio
gives
vuole.
an opportunity for people to start downloading
Dio ti prego.
Server Slam, which is when you spend Smoldering Ash, can you re-roll that Smoldering Ash onto different blessings and so forth?
Like, can you unspend it?
Can you unspend it and put it on other blessings?
Honestly, I'll have to follow up with
I will
design.
follow up on that.
Oh, there we
Non
go.
lo
And I
sa.
will provide an answer
Yes.
Mi ha
on that.
fatto una domanda e non lo sa.
With
I will
design.
follow up on that.
Oh, there we go.
And I will provide an answer.
Però
on
ride.
that.
Stumped us.
Yeah, we've been stumped. We've been stumped. So just a reminder, Server Slam downloads will be starting here momentarily.
It
So
should
you
have
can
already started 2 minutes ago. What are you doing?
So you should be able to grab it from the
Good
BattleNet
game,
client,
yes.
from PlayStation, Xbox as well. And if you already have the beta clients, those will start to update automatically, so you'll be prepared for this weekend. Provide feedback on our forums. You can see all the amazing rewards here and so forth for Server Slam this weekend. Provide all your feedback on the forums. We'll be reading forums, Reddit, social media, and so forth.
Yeah, I think we should also.
Oh, the puppy! I've got to
This-
play this
it
time.
says
I was
it's,
working last time. I didn't get the puppy, so
You didn't hit 20 last time?
I didn't. I
know.
was working. I didn't play.
Awesome.
E ride e poi beve, esatto Max, ride e poi beve, no? Perché deve stemperare l'imbarazzo e quindi bevo anch'io, beviamo tutti, beviamo
I mean, I think to be clear too, like I just want to again, as we talk about the realities of development, you know, I feel like the team did an amazing job responding to the feedback on the open beta and being able to make all the changes that made for the dungeon and the font and all the stuff all the great feedback we had. And we still want that same feedback coming off ServerSlam, but please recognize the game went gold a little while ago. We are 22 days away from launch, so our ability to respond in a really big way to feedback is going to be somewhat limited as we're kind of coming in to land this airplane, if you will. So we're doing our best and we're going to respond as best we can. But just in terms of the scope of changes, like we were able to do a lot coming off open beta, probably less off ServerSlam. This is really meant to be, hey, we're getting ready to go live. We want to make sure our servers are ready for that. And so this is what this is about. We still want your feedback. I'm just saying, manage expectations. You may see the results of that feedback more towards season 1 or such. So just something to be aware of.
Va bene.
Yeah, so lots coming up here this weekend, and lots coming up before launch as well for Diablo 4. We're obviously really excited. This is actually, I will note, this is our last developer update live stream.
One tier.
Before launch. We will continue these post-launch.
Even if it's just you by yourself, we're talking.
Yeah, I will
Ok, interessante, questo è l'ultimo live streaming poi degli sviluppatori prima del lancio. Ok, quelli dopo saranno tutti post lancio, i successive dirette live.
We will continue these.
Lo beati voi che non avete a che fare con gli americani. Lo so, per fortuna non devo lavorarci, però in realtà Max fanno parte del mio lavoro, essendo io un giornalista che segue i videogiochi, con gli americani purtroppo eccoli qua.
Yep.
Post-launch.
Even if it's just you by yourself, we're talking.
Yeah, I will just jump on a camera and deadpan for 1 hour.
Walking over to Starbucks on your phone.
I imagine we'll be talking a great deal.
Yes.
We've already spoken quite a great deal.
And there's more. There's plenty more where that came from.
A fraction.
E ride e poi beve per stemperare l'imbarazzo. Ma è incredibile, ragazzi. Sono degli NPC, sono dei bot. Sono letteralmente dei bot programmati con degli script. Il loro script è if, se l'altro dice una cosa così un po' strana, tu ridi. E se ridi, dopo bevi per stemperare l'imbarazzo. Sono letteralmente degli NPC. Ecco, ragazzi, non siate anche voi degli NPC. Non siate anche voi degli NPC.
Spoken quite a great deal.
And there's more. There's plenty more where
I
that
haven't
came
even
from.
said a fraction of what I could say.
I mean, that's what it is to be paid by the word.
Yep, it's true.
And just another reminder that all the topics that we discussed today regarding seasons, battle pass, and shop, and so forth, those are actually going to be available on Diablo4.com. We'll have a blog up immediately after this stream, so people can actually take a look there and get more information or read more information if you happen to just jump in halfway through or something like that.
Yeah. Or we spoke too fast.
Yeah.
And you want to read it at your own pace, then that's a good place to go to do that.
Side-eyeing Joe the whole time.
Ce l'hanno.
I appreciate
Eccola.
I appreciate Joe. Joe
Ce l'avevano in
Joe's
canna la
great.
risata.
And
E
at the same
beve,
time,
beve.
the ServerSlam information, we have a blog up for that as well.
Ragazzi, il contenuto di questa live, il vero contenuto di questa live non sono le informazioni che danno gli sviluppatori, ma sono i meme di questi NPC. Sono letteralmente dei bot programmati per fare quello che gli dice l'azienda.
That's a good place to go to do that.
Side-eyeing Joe the whole time.
I appreciate you, Joe.
Ride.
I appreciate Joe.
E beve.
Joe's great.
Perfetto.
And at the same time, the ServerSlam information, we have a blog up for that as well. And that, again, starts at noon Pacific time, May 12th.
Noon. Yes, noon. Sorry.
Noon Pacific time, May 12th. So we hope to see you guys there.
In the U.S., Mother's Day weekend. Or
Mother's
as we
Day
like
weekend.
now, Blessed Mother's Day weekend.
Blessed Mother's Day weekend in the
The
U.S.
best
and in some participating countries that have not already celebrated Mother's Day
I know, that's yeah.
or will celebrate Mother's Day at a different date. But yes. But yeah, thank you guys again for tuning in for
Non ride.
another Diablo 4 developer update live stream.
Peccato, ma
Thank
aspettiamo
you again
l'ultima
to this
risata.
wonderful panel of guests, Rod, Kagan, Joe. We are super excited for launch of Diablo 4, Server Slam this weekend. Rod actually has a
Ce
special
l'ha.
treat for us here.
Ce l'ha un'ultima risata. Ce l'ha, eccola, un'ultima risata e
Actually has a
beve.
special treat for us here.
What?
So my wife got me the button for. This is a thing that came out. That's a 30-second dance party. So why don't we end on a 30-second?
We will end on a 30-second dance party.
All right.
So Rod,
Ready?
take us away.
30-second dance party.
There you go.
Bye everyone.
Check out Server Slam.
Server Slam, Server Slam. Please go to the graphic. Please go to the graphic.
Okay.
Che ridere, ragazzi, grasse risate. Quante grasse risate con Blizzard. Mamma mia. Che cringe. Che cringe. Ma cosa abbiamo visto alla fine? Loro che si sono messi... Americani. Mamma mia. Sì, è finita, Max. Guardiamo il lato positivo. Comunque l'avevo detto, secondo me ce l'hanno. C'hanno un'ultima risata, ma di lasciarci. E ce l'avevano un'ultima un'ultima risata con la musichetta. Con la musichetta. Ma cosa cazzo abbiamo visto, ragazzi? Ma cosa cazzo abbiamo visto? Volete rivedere il finale? Ma voi volete morire dentro? Volete morire dentro? Vediamo il finale.
Just
Sorry,
Right
like,
Aspetta. Però mi metto gli occhiali del disagio.
What?
So my wife got me the button for. This is a thing that came out. That's a 30-second dance party. So why don't we end on a 30-second?
we will end on a 30-second dance party.
All right.
So Rod,
Ready?
take us away.
30-second dance party.
There you go.
Bye everyone.
Check out Server Slam.
Server Slam, Server Slam. Please go to the graphic. Server
E
Slam.
beve.
Please go to the graphic.
Okay.
Vabbè, è finita, ragazzi. Allora, adesso sono curioso di vedere. Ecco, adesso mi voglio vedere i commenti. I commenti di questo capolavoro. Io ovviamente non posso non mettere il mio apporto. E quindi dislike. Per quel poco che conta, però. Esatto. Adesso rispondo a tutte le domande, ragazzi. Ai tempi di Gears of War era più serio, Rod Ferguson, sì. Ah, commenti disattivati, lol, io che volevo leggermi tutti i meme, ci saranno sicuramente. Reddit di Diablo starà esplodendo, vediamo un po'. Diablo Reddit. Diablo 4 Reddit. Quante ce ne sono di Diablo 4 Reddit? Qual è quella giù, quella ufficiale? Credo sia la prima. Boh, vai a sapere. Ecco, this dev live stream was 95% marketing, 5% content. Vediamo anche qui. Qui non ne parlano. Probabilmente è controllato, probabilmente qui cancellano i thread. Ecco. Vabbè. Comunque, ragazzi, è finita. È durato 1 ora e 30 questo streaming. Mamma mia, l'ora e 37 più lunghe della mia vita. Comunque, adesso rispondo un po' di domande, ragazzi. Poi, ehm, poi sì, poi attacchiamo Diablo 3. Attacchiamo Diablo 3. E nel frattempo, ma scusate, fatemi un attimo vedere. Milan Int 02. Ma penso. E bravi. Però occhio che non è ancora finita, non è ancora finita. Allora, ehm, sì, a differenza dei precedenti capitoli di Diablo, Diablo 4 è completamente open world. Questo significa che è possibile esplorare le 5 diverse regioni di gioco in qualsiasi ordine e spostarsi fluidamente da una all'altra. Sì, questo sì si futia, ma attenzione, non dice che è possibile iniziare il gioco in qualsiasi zona. Dice che è open world ed è possibile esplorare le 5 regioni del gioco in qualsiasi ordine. Però non dice che è possibile iniziare da qualsiasi zona. Ma voglio dire, ragazzi, pensate a quanti giochi, a quanti giochi open world ci sono al mondo, ma non è che puoi scegliere dove iniziare. Voglio dire, anche Elden Ring, no? Elden Ring è open world, però mica scegli dove iniziare. È normale che inizi che c'è un tutorial preciso, deciso dagli sviluppatori, no? Pensate anche a New World. New World è open world, mi sembra. Adesso è un po' che non ci gioco. Sì. Ehm, però, comunque, non è che open world vuol dire che inizi ovunque. Comunque, il tizio che rideva poi sarà andato in bagno almeno 2 o 3 volte. Esatto, bravo, sì, ma anche Zelda è open world. Però è normale che inizi con una fase tutorial in una zona precisa. Questo è. Comunque. Ehm, Ecco, dopodiché mi chiedevano di spiegare questa cosa dell'accesso anticipato. Ma guarda, è molto semplice in realtà. Allora, Battle.net. Allora, il gioco di base esce. Perché in francese? Boh. Dicevo, di base Diablo 4 esce ufficialmente il 6 giugno. Ma perché è diventato francese? Sarà buggato? It. Ok. Dicevo, Diablo 4 esce ufficialmente il 6 giugno, ma se acquistate la Digital Deluxe Edition o l'Ultimate Edition in vendita rispettivamente a 90 euro e 100 euro su PC, 100 euro e 110 euro su console, queste due edizioni permettono di iniziare a giocare con 4 giorni di accesso anticipato. 4 giorni prima, quindi vuol dire il 2 giugno invece che il 6 giugno. Quindi sarà possibile per chi appunto preordina queste due edizioni o Deluxe o Ultimate, invece di iniziare a giocare il 6 giugno che è martedì, potrà iniziare a giocare il 2 giugno che è venerdì. Quindi in pratica ha un weekend prima. Può fruire di questo weekend. Questo è molto semplicemente l'accesso anticipato. Esatto. Ma comunque, scherzi a parte, secondo me è davvero così. Secondo me bevevano così tanto per lo stress. Cioè, per togliere lo stress. Quando sei stressato bevi molto. Eh, io credo che davvero fosse quello il motivo. Comunque, allora, un po' di domande. Adesso possiamo rispondere a un po' di domande. Esatto, adesso tutti al cesso. I soldi di Diablo servono per comprare le bottiglie per bere. Esatto, la pacca sulla spalla per ricordarti di ridere. Posso scrivere che mi stanno rotolando i coglioni per terra. Ragazzi, questa live è stata bellissima, ma non per la live in sé, ma per i meme. Quanti meme. Esatto, l'NPC che gli dici bevi e beve. E il più anziano innesca la risata perché è esperto e gli altri lo seguono. È chiaro? Incredibile, incredibile. Sì, sì, è così, è così. Comunque, Askez, non bisogna confondere. No, allora io non sono d'accordo. Non bisogna confondere la qualità del gioco con, con queste live streaming che vengono chiaramente fatte per strizzare l'occhio a un pubblico casual americano, tutto allegro, battutine, atmosfera leggera. E purtroppo è così. Però non bisogna confondere questo stile comunicativo rivolto al pubblico americano principalmente, non bisogna confonderlo con la qualità del gioco. Ecco, il gioco è di indubbia qualità. Poi possiamo parlare di bug, problemi tecnici, tutto quello che volete. Però è abbastanza indiscutibile che il gioco sia di qualità, ecco. Buonasera, Redaction. Già finito Diablo 3? No, Diablo 3 l'ho appena iniziato. È finita invece la conferenza. Meno male che è finita, mamma mia, ragazzi, cosa vi siete persi? Meno male che è finita. Io, raga, ho fatto il pre dei Diablo 4 Standard Edition, posso già giocare il 6. Grande Amazon. In che senso puoi già giocare? Sì, non è male che potrai giocare il 6. Se acquisti la Standard Edition potrai giocare il 6. Tra l'altro hanno aperto il pre-download. Il pre-download appunto del server Slam. Quindi, quindi se volete potete scaricare già il client beta di Diablo 4. Esatto, early download available now su Battle.net, a meno se giocate da PC. Esatto, e hanno anche pubblicato questo. Infatti io sto giusto aprendo Battle.net in questo momento. No, 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 sono profeta, non avete capito. Il 2 giugno, chi ha acquistato... Allora, chi acquista la Ultimate Edition o la Digital Deluxe Edition potrà iniziare a giocare il 2 giugno. Il 6 giugno non è male che... se acquisti la Standard Edition non è male che inizi a giocare il 6 giugno. È tutto giusto, sommo profeta. E vi state confondendo, ragazzi, è tutto giusto. Il 6 giugno è il lancio ufficiale. Il 2 giugno è quello anticipato per chi prende la Ultimate o la Digital. Ragazzi, ma è facile da capire. Comunque, bene, allora io qui il mio apporto di dislike ce l'ho messo. A posto così. Io sicuramente noi di MMO.it. Che è sta roba? Ma chiudi. Comunque si vede esattamente qual è il target di Blizzard. Che finita questa live fanno un bel raidone a uno streamer che... Non dico nulla. Ecco, non dico nulla. Però potete capire. Si capisce il target di Blizzard, diciamo. Qual è il target di questa live che abbiamo appena visto insieme. Comunque sì, noi di MMO.it sicuramente inizieremo a giocare il 2 giugno perché riceviamo il codice dal PR. E quindi sì, per streamarlo, per portarvi contenuti, ragazzi. Quindi sì. È uno streamer che ride parecchio e che è molto americano, anche come stile proprio. Mamma mia. Execute Error 37. Qui i meme ovviamente si sono già scatenati e si scateneranno. Allora, vediamo se l'hanno aggiornato adesso che fine. Ok, hanno aggiornato almeno l'articolo inglese. Ecco, se proprio devo preferisco leggere l'articolo, almeno nell'articolo non ridono. Diciamo che almeno l'articolo mantiene una certa serietà. Questa è la replica, già uppata. E bomba, ragazzi. E che Dio ce la mandi buona. Speriamo bene. Ma, vabbè. No, ma aspetta un attimo. Questo è spagnolo. Io ho detto, ma perché italiano e spagnolo? What the fuck? Cioè, vedete, ho messo il sito in italiano e c'ho l'articolo in spagnolo. Beh, proprio gli stereotipi. Buonasera, ho il KK. Guarda, lasciamo perdere, è stata una conferenza delirante, è stata una conferenza linciana, quasi alla David Lynch, totalmente alienante, con questi sviluppatori che ridevano continuamente e subito dopo aver riso bevevano abbondanti quantità di acqua per mascherare, per reintegrare i liquidi e soprattutto per mascherare la vergogna, perché io credo che dentro si stiano vergognando tantissimo e se non si stanno vergognando dovrebbero, perché dovrebbero vergognarsi, però insomma speriamo che poi il gioco Ragazzi, ormai ci siamo, mancano 3 settimane, speriamo che il gioco alla fine sia degno, dai, ma credo di sì, ecco, speriamo che non deluda. E per il resto, mi raccomando, se ancora non l'avete visto, recuperatevi il video speciale che abbiamo pubblicato ieri su MMO.it, dedicato ai 10 migliori action RPG di sempre in attesa di Diablo 4. Video che vi linko qui in chat. Eh, Red Action è stata una conferenza in cui hanno dato pochissime informazioni, poco arrosto, poca sostanza, tantissima fuffa e soprattutto hanno passato tutta la conferenza a ridere in maniera finta e palesemente forzata per trasmettere un senso di allegria, no? E quindi erano lì, gli facevano la domanda e, e ridevano. Poi facevano un'altra domanda e ridevano, insomma, è stata tutta così. Un'ora e mezza passata a ridere continuamente. Una roba veramente da manicomio. Io a un certo punto ho sbroccato malissimo. Ho insultato tutti. Cioè, proprio tutti. Ho insultato tutto il mondo. E niente, ecco. Bello. Questo è quanto. Sì, sì, venerdì si gioca, venerdì inizia il Server Slam. Sì, sembra esatto, Galatimo, sembrava una puntata di Black Mirror, assolutamente sembrava una puntata di Black Mirror. Sì, sì. Va bene ragazzi, allora a questo punto direi che possiamo giocare a Diablo 3, però dovete concedermi un attimo, un minuto di pausa, facciamo 2 minuti di pausa, perché sono esausto. Questa conferenza mi ha drenato, mi ha tolto tutte le energie mentali. Non mi aspettavo sarebbe stata così faticosa e invece sono stanchissimo, ragazzi. Cioè, dopo aver fatto una maratona di 8 ore su Diablo 2 ero meno stanco, credo. Perché Diablo 2 non ridono. Oddio, c'è il primo maligno che un po' ride, però diciamo che quella è una risata che ci piace. È cringissimo Piedina Nucleare. Guarda, è stato un'ora e mezzo ecco, se vi piace il cringe, recuperatevi questa conferenza. Guardatevi la replica, la upperemo sul canale, sul secondo canale YouTube. Guardatela perché è stato veramente l'apoteosi del cringe. Cioè, io sono profondamente imbarazzato. Comunque sì, adesso mi rilasso, Edo Peak. Giocare a New World in confronto è rilassante, sì, sì. Magari adesso mi faccio 2 minuti di pausa, vado un attimo in bagno, refillo il bicchiere e poi continuiamo con Diablo 3. Eh, Però vi giuro, sono esausto, sono esausto. Sono tremendamente blindati e silenziosi e qui le cose sono due. No, ma in realtà non sono blindati e silenziosi, Red. Hanno dato un sacco di informazioni, solo che le hanno date con uno stile comunicativo tremendo, terribile, con risate continue, cioè proprio non la prendevano sul serio, una totale mancanza di rispetto nei confronti del pubblico. Cioè, ma come si fa a fare un contenuto di questo genere? Cioè, ma proprio non stai rispettando i consumatori, che poi sono quelli che ti pagheranno. Ascolto la soundtrack di Elite Dangerous, quella sì che ti rilassa, me l'ascolterò, Galatimus. Sì, vado a rifillare, ragazzi. Datemi 2-3 minuti di pausa e... No, beh, vedo che siete... vedo anche che siete in tanti, questo mi fa molto piacere, ma non vi preoccupate, saremo tantissimi anche tra poco perché continuiamo Diablo 3. Quindi non mancate, 2 minuti, buonasera Simos. Non posso ripetere tutto, abbiate pazienza. Guardatevi la replica, perché è già la terza volta che ripeto. Comunque, sta una conferenza, sicuramente la conferenza più cringe che abbia mai seguito in vita mia. Ragazzi, 2 minuti, torno subito e continuiamo la road to Diablo 4 su Diablo 3. Grandi ragazzi, bella, a tra pochissimo.